against the new-look New York Giants. And we welcome you to another opening day, the NFL on Fox. Today from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia on a gorgeous day and a capacity crowd. It's the New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. And welcome everyone to an opening game with two intense rivals. I'm Dick Stockton along with Daryl Johnston. Tony Siragusa is with us as well. And there are important people, marquee players, and issues to discuss for both teams today. Talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, Daryl Owens, his jersey, by the way, the #1 seller right now, the big acquisition in the offseason.
Expectations are so high for the Philadelphia Eagles because of their aggressive style and free agency. They went out and got Daryl Owens, a big physical presence on the outside, who's going to make everybody else in the passing game better. The big question, how does he adjust to the Eagles' style of spreading the ball around? And Javon Curse on the defensive side of the ball, a pass rusher that every offense is going to have to worry about in their protection schemes, but he has been hurt the last 2 seasons. Can he stay healthy this year?
And, of course, there are other questions for the Philadelphia Eagles who have stumbled getting into the big game in the last 3 years.
The three-headed monster is gone. They've got Brian Westbrook. He's going to have to carry the load as the running back. He's got 2 young guys to help out. And then in the defense, the starters have only practiced together 1 day all preseason. How do these young corners hold up in Jim Johnston's aggressive scheme?
And, Daryl, no question about what the marquee story has been for the Giants in preseason, the quarterback situation. Eli Manning, the highly touted rookie, sitting on the bench for the opener, and Kurt Warner, the veteran, trying to resurrect his career.
Well, the one thing that the offense for the Giants will never be confused with is the greatest show on turf. It's an offense that's going to continue to evolve as the season goes on. It's going to be very conservative early on. How does Kurt adjust to that style? Because I think he's worried about the fact they don't have a deep threat right now.
And, Moose, it would be an understatement to say that the Giants have issues.
Oh, they really do. And I think the biggest one is, can Tom Coughlin convince the players that his philosophy and his schemes are the right way to do? You've heard all the talk so far. There's some animosity between the players and coaches, some issues that have popped up. He's got to convince these guys that what he's doing is correct. And then when you talk about some of those philosophies, #1 is winning up front, offensive and defensive line. They've got 1 starter back from their offensive line from last year. They've got 1 starter back in their front 7. It's going to be hard to execute his philosophy with all these new faces.
And a lot of curiosity in this, the first game of the regular season, as we get set for the start of this game. And right now, let's send you over to the national anthem, or to the public address announcement. And the captains at midfield for the coin toss.
It's coin toss. Joining today's Eagles captains is Christopher Fleming from Springfield, Pennsylvania. Today's Turkey Hill coin toss kid. Log on to turkeyhill.com to find out how your child
Johnny Greer is the referee, and he is in his 24th season. He has refereed longer than anyone else on the staff of officials. Two of the Eagles out there, Brian Dawkins, who is delighted to be back after a season fighting injury, and Donovan McNabb, the Eagles quarterback, Carlos Emmons, the former Eagle. The Giants have won the toss. And they will receive. So Kurt Warner will bring his team on first in this game. The Eagles have defeated the Giants 5 of the last 6 games against the Giants. Right now, let's go to the public address announcement.
We ask you to remember the men and women of our armed forces and all those who have given their lives in the service of our country. Please direct your attention to the field where 100 members representing all branches of the United States military are presenting the flag. Immediately following today's anthem, please turn your attention high above Lincoln Financial Field for a military flyover by 4 F-16 jets from the 177th Fighter Wing. Now, please join Lauren Hart in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the great.
A great scene on the opening Sunday as the fans ever so hopeful that they have made the moves to get the Philadelphia Eagles finally over the hump into the Super Bowl, playing the New York Giants and Kurt Warner. And we want to welcome the third member of our team roaming the sidelines in short sleeve shirt as usual, Tony Siragusa. Goose, welcome.
Moose, Dick, thanks very much. I hope I look pretty good in high definition. I was a little bit nervous about that. But thank you for inviting me back again to be a part of your crew once again. The big question mark today is not me, it's not you. It's how the New York Giants are going to respond to the militant coaching of Tom Coughlin. This guy is very tough. A person like myself couldn't play for a guy like Tom Coughlin. I have too much to say, too big a mouth. But it's not about me. Guys like Tiki Barber, Michael Strahan, they cannot be walking on eggshells like they have been in the postseason and even in camp. They got to come out here today, play loose, play wild. This is the Philadelphia Eagles you're going against. You got to explode. Maybe you guys up there, Moose, you played for somebody like a Tom Coughlin who's been a little tough to play for. Maybe you can give us a better idea of how what these guys are thinking about.
Well,
right
we're going to hear what Moose says. I wish you'd get off the fence and really take a stand here, Tony. Right now, we want to welcome the audience that saw the St. Louis Rams in a tough game beat the Arizona Cardinals in the opener 17-10. And to check on your fantasy team, doing by dialing 63504 on your singular wireless phone or log on to foxsports.com. What about it, Moose?
Well, you know, Jimmy Johnston was a taskmaster when we were there in Dallas, and he took a lot of hits from people around the NFL for doing things differently, things that weren't done that way. But winning cures all ills, and that's why this is what the situation is going to be. And if you can't just realize that Tom Coughlin is in charge, you're going to be able to do the things that way, then you're going to have issues with him. And some of the things that we've talked about, there have been precedents set when players have been fined, but players have continued to commit the same mistakes. And the one thing he does not accept are mistakes, whether they're on the field, off the field. So it's going to be a work in progress, but we'll see how it all pans out.
And you got to start somewhere, as David Akers starts somewhere by getting the game underway. Willie Ponder returning the kick for the Giants, and Ponder dives past the 20-yard line as we get the game underway. Eagles expected to win this game, and Kurt Warner, the last time he won a game was against these Philadelphia Eagles in the championship game, January 2002, but has an NFL record passing rating. But that was with the St. Louis Rams. It'll be a first down on the 22-yard line. Ron Dane will start out, starting for the Giants at running back. Dane had a very productive preseason, and on play action on first down, the pass is caught by Jim Finn, the fullback, and he runs out of bounds. Tackled by Keith Adams. The Giants offensive line, and it's going to be a work in progress big time there. Jason Whittle starting at left guard, and the coach's son-in-law, Chris Snee from Boston College, the second-round pick, will begin at right guard, but changes all the way around. Barber will play a lot. Amani Toomer and Ike Hilliard are the receivers, and the key man is Jeremy Shockey. How long will he play today, and how much? Because Shockey is the biggest threat the Giants have, as Ron Dane is stuffed by the middle linebacker Mark Simoneau. will bring up 3rd down and long for the Giants.
That will be one of the situations that Tom Coughlin will have to deal with. How does he utilize Jeremy Shockey as he works his conservative game plan?
3rd down and 5, and the protection breaks down, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Ron Dane out of the backfield, so you know Jim Johnston's going to send the kitchen sink, Javon Curse. And he put on the tremendous pass rush on Kurt Warner, and it brings up 4th down and a punting situation, and Jeff Teagles comes in to kick it away.
Well, you can talk about the inexperience at the corner position, but Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown played quite a bit last year, and Jim Johnston's philosophy is to pressure. He's going to have faith in those guys on the corners.
So 3 and out for the Giants, and Feagles, who's a fine directional kicker, kicks this one short, and Reno Mahe will let it bounce, and it takes a giant roll and will be down inside the 30-yard line. So the Philadelphia Eagles going on offense for the first time, and we're going to see Daryl Owens in his first play in the regular season. There's Donovan McNabb, who's 5-2 as a starter against the Giants. And in the preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens, on the first play of the game, McNabb hit Owens, I believe, for his number, an 81-yard touchdown on the first play.
And he talked to us about that, the fact that he stood in the face of a blitz and had the ability to throw that ball off his back foot 45 yards downfield.
So McNabb is delighted that he has a T.O. on his side. The tight end, Chad Lewis, going in motion, and he makes the grab and will get extra yards. And the first down past the 40. Pick up of 14 yards. And the Eagles' offensive line, Jermaine Mayberry, has moved from right guard to left guard to make room for a very impressive rookie, #1 pick, Sean Andrews. Brian Westbrook will shoulder most of the burden, as Moose has already indicated. Owens is the big man. Maybe that opens things up for Todd Picton. First down on the 42. And the running play to Westbrook. And Westbrook picking up a yard on the play. Keith Washington, veteran defensive end, on the tackle.
That defensive line is going to do some different things today. They've got a nice game plan. Tim Lewis is doing some unique things with this front. And it's like both sides of the ball. You're learning a new system. You're in your first game of the season. It's going to take a while to understand the overall philosophy. But they will challenge that Eagle offensive line with some unique things this afternoon.
Freddie Mitchell comes into the game on the slot to the bottom of the picture. 2nd and 9 out of the 43, and McNabb is in the shotgun. The Giants with a 3-man front, and will show a lot of that. And McNabb, under great pressure, throws the ball away in the direction of Chad Lewis. So we're going to see a lot of different defensive blitzes and all kinds of things from Tim Lewis, their new coordinator.
Well, they're not just going to come out and line up in one place and stay there. You saw on that snap, they were moving all over the place. Michael Strahan jumping down inside at the last second. There's Carlos Emmons walking up, number 51. And then here comes the pressure from the right side. They're getting you to focus your attention on one side of the ball and then bringing pressure away from that.
And they continue with a 3-4 on 3rd down and 9. The defensive backfield, he escapes and is running on the run, and the pass is caught for the first down by Daryl Owens. His first reception for the Philadelphia Eagles, good for the first down in Giant territory.
Well, that's one of the challenges. You might get to Donovan McNabb, but you've got to still get him to the ground. And there goes Todd Pinkston on a clear route, and they're going to bring Terrell Owens underneath right there. Will Peterson does a nice job of passing him on and getting back. He takes a big hit but makes the catch.
And it was Brent Alexander, the free safety, who put the pressure on but could not reach Donovan McNabb. And a first down at the 41-yard line of the Giants. And let's see if there is a timeout or a challenge by the Giants.
That the quarterback threw the pass from behind the line of scrimmage.
I think it would mean on the other side of the line of scrimmage. We always throw it from behind the line of scrimmage.
I know there are rule changes and points of emphasis, but I still think you can pass the ball from behind the line of scrimmage.
We've done a lot to protect the quarterbacks, but this season he's not going to be allowed to throw the ball from behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, so an early challenge in one of the new rules. If you're successful on 2, you get a shot for a 3rd. We'll be right back.
The quarterback has to be clearly beyond the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a little bit of a grace area on a play like this. But I think what caught Tom Coughlin's eye is at the end of this, one of the officials pulls his flag out and goes to throw it, but then tucks it back in his pocket. You see right there, it comes out, but then it goes back in. So I think that is what got the conference with the officials, and what we're waiting to find out if, in fact, Donovan McNabb was far enough past the line of scrimmage.
Johnny Greer telling the officials what he has seen. He makes the decision. And here it is.
After reviewing the play, the line of scrimmage was the 43-yard line. The pass was thrown from the 44-yard line. We'll penalize 5 yards, and it's also a loss of down. 4th down.
So the challenge pays off for Tom Coughlin. So whatever you want to say, he's done something right early on in his first game back with the Giants.
Well, that's one of those challenges that seems not big right now, but the Eagles converted for a 1st down. He takes away a possession from the Philadelphia Eagles. And, you know, it's a good heads-up play by Tom Coughlin and his staff, recognizing the fact that the official was going to pull that flag initially on that play.
And you're right, it is significant because the Eagles were rolling. They had the crowd on their side. They had a head of steam going. They had the 1st down in Giant territory, and now they have to punt. So Dirk Johnson, in his 2nd year as the kicker, gets off a wobbly kick that bounces at the 28-yard line and finally is down at about the 34-yard line. So the Giants will go on offense the first time after that challenge. No score here in the first quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
And welcome back to Philadelphia. Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa. There's the blue line indicating where the drive starts. The yellow line for the 1st down. The Giants will be at the 34-yard line. Giants with 11 new starters plus the place kicker. If you want to count the punt returner, that would be 13. 2 tight end alignment, and Tiki Barber into the game for the first time. Breaks one, a 1st down, and Barber is tackled inside the 45-yard line. A gain of 22 yards before Javon Kearse went downfield to nail him. And you watch Jeremy Shockey motions into the backfield, and I think this is what's going to make him one of the more complete tight ends in the league. You have to worry about him in the passing game. Doesn't get a great block on Michael Lewis, but gets in the way, gives Tiki Barber a go down the middle of the field. Once Jeremy Shockey becomes a good blocker at the tight end spot, he's going to be very difficult to defend. And here is Tiki Barber on the play action protection, and the pass caught at the 30-yard line by Tim Carter, the 3rd wide receiver, and the receiver perhaps with the most speed. 13 more yards, 35 yards in 2 plays, Moose.
Yeah, Tim Carter, one of the speed guys for the Giants, gets down, gets him to turn his hips, and then breaks right across his face. But here's your battle right here. Javon Kearse, and look at Jeremy Shockey. He's on the outside shoulder, and Kurt Warner sets up on the inside. Don't know how he got away with that holding right there.
1st down on the 31, so the Giants in Eagle territory. And there is the rollout and the pass to Shockey, who drops the ball. Jeremy Shockey drops the ball, but there is a penalty marker down, and we will have a personal foul called against the Eagles. And that will give the Giants a 1st down.
Foul, roughing the passer, blow to the head, number 32 defense. 1st down.
That's Michael Lewis, the strong safety, coming up right here.
And you'll see it at the end of the throw, right? The ball is delivered away. I don't know, touchy. He got him up in the arm or the shoulder, knocked him to the ground. Don't agree with the blow to the head call on that. But here's the big thing. Jeremy Shockey ad-libs. Watch all the room he's got. He's going to split this defense right there for a touchdown. You got to look the ball in and make a big play. This is a team looking for something positive to happen. Jeremy Shockey had a great opportunity right there.
And the Giants, taking advantage of Eagle penalties on both sides of the ball, have a 1st down on the 16 of Philadelphia. And Ron Dayne getting the call, driving forward. And Ron Dayne getting another life after being inactive for the last 16 games last season. And they hope he is the short yardage back that they need. And a flag on the play.
Holding, 82, offense.
And this one
still 1st down.
is against Visante Shanko, the second tight end on the Giants.
When you're a team that's got a new staff, everything around the Giants is new, and you're just looking for someone to make a play, and here is your emotional leader, not only on the offense, but the whole team. And he doesn't look the ball all the way, and he's got an opportunity right there to really get into this crowd's head. The expectations are so high here in the city of Philadelphia, and the players know that they don't match up well against the Giants.
First and 20, plenty of time for Kurt Warner into the end zone and overthrowing Shockey. So you can see how Shockey is intended to be the big weapon that he is against the Eagles, and the Eagles, all they talked about was defending that man when we talked to them.
Well, he creates such matchup problems. You see right there, Michael Lewis, a safety, and he has the athletic ability to make breaks and to make cuts while moving at full speed like a receiver would do on the outside, but he weighs 255 pounds, and it's just one of those great skills that you see in some of these guys. He turned Michael Lewis all the way around, and there's maybe a hint of Kurt Warner and Jeremy Shockey. Not getting to spend some time at camp.
Second and 20, and here's Dean going outside, and this time Shockey is the blocker, and Dean picking up the first down, getting to about the 12-yard line. Sheldon Brown, one of the young cornerbacks, who's taking the place of Vincent and Taylor after the 15-yard gain.
And here's one of the things I like that this offense is doing now. I think Ron Dane, in the past, he kind of knew what to expect when he was in the game. He has dropped some weight. He's become more quick in his decision-making and his cuts, and he can be involved in the running game when you're on the perimeter. And right there, a 2nd and 20 situation, Tom Coughlin getting back to where he probably wants to be in this conservative approach at 3rd and 5.
Well, it sets up the play action, and right now the Giants, who were last in the red zone offense last year, and the flip to Tiki Barber, and the first down is Barber getting inside the 6-yard line, and the Giants moving the sticks and silencing this crowd. A 6-yard pickup with Dhani Jones, the ex-Giant linebacker, and there is an injured player on the field, and it is Tiki Barber.
He took a couple of big hits at the end of that run. But the one thing he did, the one thing that Tiki Barber wanted to work on during the course of preseason and through training camp was ball security. And he really put the ball away. You'll see at the end of the run, he's carrying it a little bit different right there. But there's Brian Dawkins gets him, and then Keith Adams comes in, gets a shot on him. He took 3 big hits at the end of that run, but was able to get the ball tucked away.
The Giants have only 3 backs active in this game: Barber, Dane, and Finn. They can't afford to lose one of them.
Also injured on that last play. He and Tiki Barber both on the sideline right now.
And Jerome McDougal replaces Kurtz. Ron Dane back in again at running back. 1st and goal at the 5, and Dane to the 3-yard line. And that's where Dane has to show Tom Coughlin that he has the ability to get the 1 yard when they need it. He has lost some weight, has ability to get outside, picks up 2 yards on that play.
And that's just a mindset, a mentality. He's just got to get to the hole and explode through it. Sometimes it's not going to be there. In short yardage, goal line running, sometimes you've got to make your own hole and move the pile. And I think that you watch Ron Dane, when he gets to point of attack, he's expecting something to be there. He chops his feet and he slows down. You just got to make your own hole and move the pile.
2nd and goal, the ball at the 3. Dane driving into the end zone for the touchdown. Ron Dane. And you talk about short yards. He picked up about 3 of them right there. Straight ahead, rolling his way for a 3-yard touchdown. And the Giants jump ahead and score in the red zone. Something unusual for them.
And I think they're very lucky, because it looks like kind of a mix-up right there with Ron Dane and Kurt Warner. Very close on the handoff. And then look at Ron Dane. There it is. Get your pad level down and push. He drove Darwin Walker 3 yards into the end zone for the touchdown.
And the newest place kicker, Steve Christie, is successful with the extra point. The 14-year veteran who kicked for many years with the Bills. And a flag is on the play on the point after. And it appears to be against the Eagles and appears to be declined. 7 plays, 66-yard drive. Seattle beating New Orleans, as you see the scores in the upper right-hand corner.
Offside on the defense. The extra point is good. We'll penalize on the kickoff.
So the Giants, 7-0 lead. Shockey dropped what might have been a touchdown pass, but the Giants get 7 nonetheless. Well, several years ago, thunder and lightning for the Giants in a season in which Dane actually carried more than Tiki Barber. And there you see Ron Dane with his first score since 2002. The Giants gained 42 yards on the ground of the 66 yards they had on the drive.
That's one of the basics to this Tom Coughlin offense. Running the football, winning up front, controlling the line of scrimmage. Kind of shocking to see them have that much success, but that was another one of those concerns for the Eagles. Can they stop the run defensively?
And Steve Christie with the kickoff gets it to the 1-yard line, and J.R. Reed, the rookie from South Florida, returns it, breaks away nearly, and he actually gets 5 more yards. What great strength for Reed as he was stopped at about the 25 and winds up. Missed tackle by Nick Ryson, who's active today. We'll be right back.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by Ford. The next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter. By Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game.
The famed Schuylkill River, the Vesper Boat Club, and great regattas raced on that beautiful area as the Eagles trailing 7-0 from the 29-yard line. Westbrook breaking a couple of tackles. Look at the speed going outside, and Brian Westbrook down the sidelines with a huge run, bringing back nightmares of last year's 84-yard return on a punt for a touchdown that broke the Giants' hearts early in the year.
Brian Westbrook is just a giant killer. 5 touchdowns last year. He goes up into the hole. John Ritchie with a good block. Patient at the point of attack and then exploding through the hole. Down the sideline he goes, and let me tell you what, the emotion and the momentum on that play was created by J.R. Reed on that previous kick return. He gave a great effort as a rookie, broke some tackles. You need somebody to jumpstart, just like we talked about Jeremy Shockey on the other side. I think he sparks Brian Westbrook on that play.
He obviously did on that one, Moose. That was a 27-yard return on the kickoff and a 50-yard run from scrimmage. And here is McNabb with a head of steam, completes for Todd Kingston, who is tackled at the 15-yard line. But Reed really got this team back into the game in a dramatic fashion.
The expectations are so high for this team, and they know that they have tough games against the Giants. Now, you've got a rookie. You've just fallen behind 7-0. Look at the effort on this play. I mean, he is not going to be denied. He is fighting for extra yards. He does a great job of putting the ball away in the contact area. You see right there, David Tyree coming in trying to strip it out of there. I just think that gives you a huge lift as you go to your first offensive series.
And a pickup of 6 yards, and now several players going across the line.
72, offense. Still second down.
Trey Thomas, the left tackle, guilty of a false start.
Moose, Dick, you guys are talking about J.R. Reed. He's on the sideline. This guy has fire in his pants. He's yelling, screaming at the offense. It looks like he really is getting that offensive line fired up. They had a great run right there. This guy's got a lot of energy here on the sideline.
I tell you, you can talk about the production you lost with Deuce Staley leaving to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I think you lost the emotional leadership that he provided for you on the field. Somebody has got to fill that void, because through the preseason, I have not seen anybody that took over the job that Deuce Staley did. When this team needed a big play or a spark from breaking tackles and doing something, it was Deuce Staley 99% of the time.
Fire in his pants?
I'll let you worry about that one.
Timeout called by the Eagles. We'll think about that one. Well, this morning it was Giant star Michael Strahan. Now it's your chance to tell us who you want to see go 10 yards with TV on next week's pregame show. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and choose from Tony Gonzalez, LeVar Arrington, Michael Vick, and Jake Delhomme. Then tune in later today to see who you selected. 2nd and 9 on the 20. After the timeout, pump fake by Donovan McNabb into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown by T.O. Already paid dividends. And ready for the World Bodybuilding Championships after the 20-yard catch.
Well, that's why he is such a physical presence on the outside. He is so big. And one thing that Andy Reid talked about, now he's got a guy that he can show clips of how to get off the jam, the bump. You've got to respect that little double move right there. He gets Will Allen to bite on it. And amazingly enough, not a whole lot of time spent together, but Donovan McNabb and Daryl Owens show you right there that they've got a good feel about how each other play the positions.
And David Akers looking to tie the game, which he does. And it was Owens who beat Will Allen, who has come back from a sprained left knee and practiced for the first time this week, but the Giants know how Owens has burned them in the past. Remember the playoff game against the 49ers a couple of years ago when Owens caught 7 passes for over 100 yards. He has done very well against the Giants.
Well, the reason that everybody is so excited here and the reason that the expectations are so high, you look at that drive right there, a 50-yard run by Brian Westbrook, then Daryl Owens in the back corner of the end zone. I mean, they have so many weapons, and I really feel that his defenses start to worry about Daryl, and they get concerned about his playmaking ability on the outside. Todd Pinkston becomes a bigger threat. L.J. Smith, Chad Lewis, all these other guys in the mix that Andy Reid uses are going to have big days also.
And, of course, he made a big splash when the Eagles played their first preseason game against the Baltimore Ravens. First game for Owens. On the very first play of the game, Terrell Owens from Donovan McNabb. That didn't count. This one did. We're tied at 7-7. So the Eagles had 4 20-plus yard touchdown catches last year. Owens had 4 himself, and Akers will get set to kick off to Willie Ponder in a 7-7 game, 6:18 to go. As we said, the best-selling jersey in the NFL, that's the one, number 81. In fact, the Eagles have 3 of the top 20 with Donovan McNabb and Javon Curse. So it's a big business time in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Change your address, sell some jerseys.
And Akers kicking to the 1-yard line, and Willie Ponder on the return runs into his own man, gets a second wind, and is down shy of the 25-yard line. Well, this week on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, the Red Sox and the Yankees rivalry goes up another notch as they fight for the American League East lead in the Bronx. Or the Diamondbacks take on the Cardinals. Or the Giants and Padres square off to battle for wild card positioning. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central on Fox. And the Yankee lead is 2 games in the loss column over the Red Sox right now. Scoring drive for the Eagles. A quick one, 3 plays. And the first TD grab by T.O. First down on the 24-yard line. Ron Dane up the middle, gets maybe 2.
Giants continuing to stay with this running game. They're going to build everything off it. It's going to be gradual progression as the season moves along. And you talk to Tom Coughlin, and what are your expectations? And he says, I just want to see these guys get better every week, and I want to see great effort every time we take the field.
Tom Coughlin rules kind of with the iron fist. There's no question about it. He's a tough one. And he left that legacy in Jacksonville. You saw Tiki Barber back in the lineup, and he goes in motion to the right. On 2nd down and 8, this pass caught shy of the first down by Ron Dane. So Dane and Barber in the backfield together for the first time, and a pickup of 7.
Just gives you more things to do. You have Tiki motion out of the backfield, get out on the flank. It draws your attention because you know that's where he's at his most dangerous, when he's out in the open field. Then you turn around, you get a little draw play to Ron Dane, and you've got people looking to the outside, and you're slipping them in. And this offensive line that everybody that's a Giant fan has been worried about all preseason, playing very well this afternoon up until this point.
Well, it's gotten overhauled and overhauled again, and now looking at 3rd down and 1. Ron Dane is the back they want to get the short yardage, and he's not going to get it. He'll lose yardage. So the Giants haven't found the answer yet, and Dahani Jones, who comes back and haunts his former team, makes the play, a loss of 1, and 4th down coming up.
Now, one of the areas that is really going to frustrate Tom Coughlin during the course of this season, if they don't improve, is short yardage and goal line. Dahani Jones on a run blitz right there, just gets through, beats everybody. You cannot have penetration when you're running short yardage and goal line running plays. That's not Ron Dane's fault right there. They needed to get Dahani Jones blocked by the guys up front.
Give credit where credit is due. That's what I like about you. So 4th down, Jeff Fiegels punting, and Reno Mahe. Good kick by Fiegels. Mahe inside the 20, finds an opening up the middle, and a big return by Mahe close to the 45-yard line. So the Giants didn't see any blue shirts in coverage, and Mahe returns at 25 yards. So Dahani Jones, and a loner and an unusual guy making the big play, and in Hindi, his first name is Thinking Man, and so he went down to the Rodin statue at the museum on 22nd and Ben Franklin Parkway and tried to do his emulation of the thinker. And here's a guy who once disappeared in the 42nd Street subway in New York to play a washboard bass, so people threw some money in there. I thought he was making good money.
At least he was playing good enough to get some money thrown to him.
First and 10 from the 44. Play action for McNabb. On the run, McNabb incomplete to T.O. And that'll bring up second down with just under 4 minutes to go in the first.
Donovan McNabb, you don't see that very often. That shows you what T.O. brings to this team. He had some room in front of him. He had just weaved his way through that pass rush, and he had some open yardage in front of him. And he is a tough guy to bring down. When Donovan McNabb gets out in the open field, I mean, you have got to wrap him up and get him to the ground. He is a big guy, and Carlos Emmons told everybody on the Giant defensive team, he goes, let me tell you, you don't know how difficult it is until you try and get him down. He will run through arm tackles.
Giants in the 34 defense, and Westbrook going in motion to the right on second and 10. Plenty of time for McNabb, and the pass looked like it was trapped, but it's picked off by Brent Alexander. No signal as Alexander on the interception. Right down center field, and the Giants get the ball. So apparently not trapped by Alexander. Crowd thinks so, though.
This one sails on Donovan a little bit. Back shoulder a little bit high to L.J. Smith. That ball definitely skipping into Brent Alexander. Donovan McNabb had a good view of it. He was trying to get Andy Reid to challenge that call right away.
Yeah. And a challenge they're going to win. This may be the easiest challenge Andy Reid has ever made. Andy Reid with a new contract, 4-year extension to 2010. He can afford classes now for reading.
Philadelphia's challenging the ruling on the field that the pass was intercepted.
And in looking at the replay, it looked like Alexander, a new face on the Giants, one-hopped it on the short hop. We'll have a timeout. And, of course, Moose, in the middle of an Andy Reid challenge, you talk about pressure. Of course, Andy Reid doesn't have to worry about his job, but, of course, in Philadelphia, you got to get over the hump into the promised land. Here is another look.
Yeah, just a little bit behind L.J. Smith, sails a little bit, but you can see right there, it hops on the yard line right there. I think that Andy Reid will win this challenge, and he has done a great job since he's taken over as the Eagles head coach. They have been one of the more consistent teams in the NFL the last 4 or 5 years, and, everybody will talk about their woes in the championship game.
The pass was incomplete. We'll have 3rd and 10 at the 44-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 3:53.
Well, we're
Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
We're undefeated in challenges. Tom Coughlin with a big challenge that was upheld, forcing the Eagles to punt, and the Giants ultimately scoring the touchdown to take the lead. And now the challenge is upheld again, and it's 3rd down and 10. The Eagles on their own 44-yard line. The Eagles have almost doubled the Giants in yards per play, 7-7 on the board. This is a Philadelphia team that averaged 28 points a game in the last 10 regular season games, and then, of course, they lost Westbrook and couldn't find points. 3rd and 10, pressure coming from the outside, going on top to Pinkston. Pinkston makes the catch. Pinkston beating Will Peterson, and the Eagles have a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. The forgotten man, Todd Pinkston, good for 53 yards.
The Giants come with the same blitz that they ran last time. You're going to see it come from the top of the screen, and here they pick it up again, give Donovan McNabb the time in the pocket, and you can see the confidence that he has. Will Peterson is in good position. Todd Pinkston just running a go route. He gets a little bit behind him, gets past the safety help. What a great catch over the outside shoulder. Great concentration by Todd Pinkston.
And most, it just looked like Peterson was looking up at the wrong time. Eagles threatening to take the lead, have a 1st and goal. And
Giants call a timeout.
Whistle.
Snuck one in there.
Yes, they did. They must have said timeout. And they took it. So the Giants with their first timeout.
This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, Fox Tuesday, Oscar De La Hoya and the producers of Fear Factor bring you reality's most compelling news series. 12 fighters continue to compete to prove who's got the heart of a champion. This time, it's not just about winning. An all-new episode of The Next Great Champ, Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, right here on Fox. So Will Peterson, along with Will Allen, the corners, and McNabb not hesitating and going at those people, and you can already see that it's a much bolder offensive format for the Eagles.
Yeah, I think sometimes Andy Reid has been accused of being conservative in his approach, and Donovan McNabb told us from the spring through training camp into the preseason, this has been a much more aggressive offensive approach this season.
First and goal on the 3, and the handoff to Westbrook. And Westbrook may have been knocked back for a loss of 1 on the play. And it was Norman Hand in the middle. The Giants, as you mentioned, Daryl, have only 1 remaining starter from the front 7. That, of course, Michael Strahan. Norman Hand, who came over from Seattle, a 10th-year player. Fred Robbins, a new face, as the other tackle from the Minnesota Vikings.
All 3 of the linebackers, new faces.
So they all have to gel in this defensive team, trying to get to know each other as well. Second and goal at the 3. McNabb rolling out, getting chased by Strahan, and McNabb looking to throw the ball away, and he throws it away into the hands of Owens for another touchdown. So Terrell Owens found a way to get open just as McNabb was going out of bounds with Strahan in his face, and the Eagles take the lead.
I tell you, I think that he's making a mistake on this play. This is just incredible athletic ability by your quarterback. You've got Michael Strahan in front of you, chasing you all over the field. He can mirror your moves. Throw the ball away. Don't take a chance on making a bad play. He gets shoved out of bounds. He throws that ball while he's in the air. I mean, this is incredible. Watch Michael Strahan right here at the end. He goes to throw it, gets shoved before he throws it, and still has the strength to throw it across the field to Terrell Owens.
Akers adding the 14th point. The Eagles with 2 touchdowns, both passes from McNabb to Terrell Owens, and a 14-7 lead with 2:17 remaining in the first.
And you just saw right there, that was Marty Morningway. That's one of the reasons maybe Terrell Owens came here. He's got some familiarity with Marty from their time out in San Francisco. But yeah, I think we've got a reason why this is the #1 selling jersey in the NFL and in Philadelphia.
And Marty Mornweg, of course, was the former head coach of the Detroit Lions. There is that number 81 as Owens goes from the Bay Area to the city of brotherly love, and people are buying it in a big way.
Guys, you got to give a lot of credit to the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. They're really giving Donovan a whole heck of a lot of time to sit back there. And Terrell, he's just running around freelancing, making things happen. This is the kind of connection we're going to be seeing all year, hopefully.
The scary part is watching them get on the same page so quickly. The ability to fade, to throw that double move fade on the first touchdown, and then to be able to know what Terrell is thinking on that last play, because he came to the inside to pivot. He was supposed to be towards the middle of the field. He works across the end zone following Donovan as he's moving to his right, and then sprints back away from him. These two are really on the same page, and that's going to be very difficult for defenses this season to stop.
And the 20th career multi-touchdown game as Akers kicking off to Ponder into the end zone, 2 yards out for Willie Ponder, and spinning his way to the 32-yard line. There's J.R. Reed making the play.
And watch, this is the thing about Donovan McNabb. He's going to get outside the pocket. Watch him freeze Michael Strahan with just a little stutter right here. Gets him to pause, stumbles, breaks his stride a little bit. That buys him that few seconds he needs when he gets to the outside. But right there, that is amazing to me. I mean, he's got his arm back and cocked to throw the ball, but Michael Strahan pushes him. He throws that ball while he's being shoved out of bounds in the opposite direction. Unbelievable arm strength by Donovan McNabb.
Javon Kearse checking back into the lineup at defensive end on first down, and Warner stepping up in his pass. And it is incomplete, and it was intended for Vicente Shanko. And right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, big things expected from Dante Culpepper. Well, this is a little short pass here to Ontario Smith. Smith does the rest, takes it to the house, 63-yard touchdown reception that answers Dallas' field goal. It is now 7-3 Minnesota. That in the second. Back to Dick, Daryl, and Tony.
And this could be an explosive offensive team. This could be the Vikings' year, a lot of people say. Many say the favorites in the NFC North.
Well, similar to what they'll have here in Philadelphia. Everybody's worried about Randy Moss on the outside. All of a sudden, you slip Ontario Smith in the middle of the field. There's nobody there.
Tiki Barber finds someone there in Brian Dawkins and Mark Simoneau after a 1-yard gain. And it'll be third down and long for the Giants.
The one thing the New York Giants offensive line, guys, is doing very well is getting the Philadelphia defensive line on the ground. whether it's pancaking them, cutting them at certain points. But when you're a running back in the backfield and you can go and see somebody on the ground, you know that there's a lane where you can attack.
So that's what Tom Coughlin wanted to do, Goose. He wanted to establish them in an aggressive running mode. The question is, what about the pass blocking? We have 3rd down and 7, and a pass attempt coming up here for Kurt Warner, stepping up, and he completes to Amani Toomer, his first catch of the season, and Toomer with a 1st down in Eagle territory.
Well, there's your answer to that question right there, Mr. Stockton. They're doing a pretty good job. Now, this is David Deal. You know, he was brought in. He played guard last year. He's moved outside to tackle. He's going up against the freak. You see right there, he sits on it. Javon's got to use his athletic ability. He tried to bull rush him right there. He's got so many moves, so much speed and quickness. Good job by David Deal staying in front of him.
And you got to hope that Javon Kerr stays healthy. That's been his problem the last couple of years. Came out for a few series and now is back. So a 1st down on the 49-yard line. Barber went in motion, and Barber gets the pass on a wide receiver screen using the running back Barber, and they pick up about 5 with Kearse making the tackle.
I hate that play.
You remember it from the Chicago Bears?
I remember it well from the Chicago Bears. I mean, in the NFL, these guys pursue to the ball. The way you recover fumbles is having everybody around the ball in case it goes on the ground. Now, you motion Tiki Barber all the way to the outside. You throw him the ball, and you bring him directly back into all the pursuit that's going outside to tackle him where they thought he was. I mean, that's that's a tough guy that goes out and runs that play.
Well, Kearse is out of the game right now, and Jerome McDougal replaces him. 2nd down and 5, and Warner gets hit as he releases the ball, and the pass is incomplete. So big pressure that time by Derek Burgess, who has been injured much of the last 2 years, and they expect big things from him as a pass rusher. That is the end of the 1st quarter. The Eagles lead the Giants 14-7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. And we welcome you back to Philadelphia. Dick Stockton along with the Moose, Daryl Johnston, and the Goose, Tony Siragusa on the field. The Eagles with a 14-7 lead. 2 touchdown passes from McNabb to Terrell Owens. Giants scoring first on a Ron Dane 3-yard touchdown run. The Giants with a 3rd down and 5 on the Eagle 44-yard line. Jeremy Shockey went in motion to the right, and the pass across the middle to Tim Carter. 1st down Giants to the 37-yard line. A lot of offense in this game, Daryl. 148 total yards by Philly. Giants have had it for 9 minutes.
Good possession, good control on both offense. You just see right there, Jeremy Shockey, kind of what Terrell Owens is going to do to people. You worry about him. They bring Tim Carter underneath, little crossing route. But I think here's the thing that Kurt Warner talked about. We're seeing a lot of horizontal pass game. We're not seeing anything really vertically down the field. And that will come as everybody learns this offense. But he's a little bit nervous about it early in the season.
Shockey lining up in the backfield, a handoff to Tiki Barber. And Barber getting good yardage, about 5, before Michael Lewis makes the stop. The only vertical pass the Giants have thrown was in the 1st quarter to Jeremy Shockey in the end zone, overthrown on the play.
Yeah, they did try and get one down the field with Jeremy Shockey early, but what they're doing right now is if you look at Tom Coughlin, he coached under Bill Parcells, he coached with Bill Belichick. They like to control the play of the game, the flow of the game, shorten it, you know, keep moving the ball, keep the clock running, you know, burn the clock.
And Warner with time, and in and out of the hands, and that should have been a catch by Amani Toomer. So we have had 2 big drops today by Shockey in the 1st quarter with no one in front of him, and Toomer right there. That would have been a huge gain.
Those are your big playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. We talk a lot about, you know, how long is it going to take for this offensive line to gel, because Luke Pettigrew, the only guy playing the same position as last year, and you look to the experience and the star power that they have at the skill position, and Jeremy Shockey, and there again, another one of their big playmakers, the inability to make that catch and move the chains.
Shockey on the sidelines, hadn't played since November 9th of last year with knee surgery, foot problems, hamstring, and now a bevy of wide receivers on 3rd down and 6, and no 1st down here as Amani Toomer catches it, and they'll lose some yards on that play. So you want to talk about no vertical. That was no vertical, and they lose 3 on the play with Brian Dawkins on the coverage.
Well, you just don't have the time. Here comes your pressure here and here, and now your safety is going to come all the way from the middle of the field, and that's what happens when you play against Jim Johnson's defense. You're going to have people come free, and it's what you do with the ball. You know, Kurt, a good job right there. He felt the 2 weak coming. he turned that way. He got the ball delivered outside, but they're coming from his blind side. If he's looking the other way, he's going to take a big hit.
Jeff Beagle's in midfield, and here is the directional kicker trying to keep it in play. And the Giants are there and cannot do it. They had David Tyree, who was there waiting to make a play, but the ball bounced and went into the end zone to the dismay of Tom Coughlin.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horn. Dodge. By Burger King, who remind you to have it your way. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Coors, Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 39.
And welcome back to Philadelphia. Early here in the second quarter, Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. First down on the 20-yard line for the Eagles, who lead 14-7. Two tight ends. Brian Westbrook gets hit in the line of scrimmage and falls forward and picks up 3 yards in the process. And right now, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, take a look at this nice move here by Algie Crumpler. A little swing pass from Michael Vick. Nice stiff arm there of Tony Parrish. He takes it 15 yards to pay dirt, and it's Atlanta on top of San Francisco. 7-0 back in the second. Hey, it looks like Tony Siragusa back in his high school days. Back to Dick and Daryl.
Yeah, JB, as long as he dances by himself and doesn't have other people around, then he gets penalized for it.
Hardy, har.
Come on, Tony. He was only kidding. Second down and 7. The pass underneath to Terrell Owens, trying to reach for the first down, and he may have done it. Terrell Owens trying to get that extra reach, and he's very close to the first down. And it is for the Eagles.
Just a little motion to the inside. It's going to run a little pivot route. And here's the thing that scares all the defenders when Terrell Owens gets the ball, his ability to run after the catch. And right there, he finds a way between 2 defenders and gets the yards necessary for the first down.
3 catches, 31 yards, already 2 touchdowns, so he's got to love it in Philadelphia. Eagles on the 30.
Here's some of that look that Tim Lewis has put in. He's got a lot of people up and moving around the line of scrimmage, trying to confuse the offensive line of the Eagles.
And on the 3-man front, quickly got it out to T.O., picking up 4 yards. Terrell Owens with his 4th catch of the game. Todd Pinkston, though, has to be happy with a 53-yard catch. There's Pinkston, who had his problems in the playoff game against the Carolina Panthers after a terrific effort against the Green Bay Packers the week before. Second and 5, and here is Westbrook trying to go outside, beats the linebacker and gets the first down. Barrett Queen, who's got a lot of speed in his own right, the former Detroit Lion, tried to chase down Westbrook. No easy task.
Yeah, he may have a lot of speed, but he doesn't have enough. Watch what Brian Westbrook does to him right here. He plays it good. He's got him right there in his sights. And just the ability to freeze him for a second and bounce outside. You can see why everybody is so excited. Maybe not as concerned as some, the fact that Brian Westbrook is the really only viable threat from the running back position this year. They do have Reno Mahe and Thomas Tepe, but Brian Westbrook is going to have to do most of the work himself.
Well, he's averaged nearly 13.5 yards per carry, and now on the play action, here is Donovan McNabb, and he goes down. And that is the first sack of the game for either team, and it's Kevin Lewis, the middle linebacker, and a loss of 5.
One of the things that will get anybody on the defensive side of the ball excited is to have a coach that likes to utilize pressure. And that's what Tim Lewis does. Last year, Johnny Lynn, not as aggressive in his philosophy or his style of defense as Tim Lewis is. And these guys buy into it right away. They get excited because he will do different things from week to week to try and make the quarterback into having bad decisions, make him to adjust and move on a much quicker pace than he would like to.
4-man front now for the Giants, and here is McNabb stepping up, and up the middle is L.J. Smith. There's the tight end. The Eagles think it's going to be a big sleeper, and he gets more than enough for the first down. Barrett Green makes the tackle, but another 12-yard pickup, and the Eagles, their offense looks like they're already in high gear, Moose.
There's so many weapons. I mean, we've talked about Brian Westbrook and Daryl Owens, but here's a guy, you know, just getting in right there for the first time. We haven't seen L.J. Smith yet. We saw Chad Lewis right away early in the game on a big play on the outside. So many weapons that Andy Reid can use, and what they do, they create packages with these guys during the course of the week and get them excited about what they're going to be able to accomplish on Sunday.
And it's not a first down. I corrected his third down and short for the Eagles, and McNabb wide open was Mitchell, had to come back to make the catch, and he does. And that is a first down, a 23-yard catch. Terry Cousin, former Carolina Panther. This was underthrown.
There's Freddie Mitchell right here on the release, runs a little flat and go up the sideline. Terry Cousin gets caught up in the move of Will Allen, and Todd Pinkston inside has to run a bubble to get back in position. If Donovan McNabb gets that ball out a little bit farther, Freddie Mitchell might be going to the house.
And the Eagles driving once again. First down on the Giant 24, already leading 14-7. And they spread out the Giant defense, 3 wide receivers. And here's McNabb, and he gets Chad Lewis, the tight end, who's just short of the first down. But Lewis is pumped.
You see, this offense is based throwing the football, and that is when they're going to be at their best. And it was funny to hear Tom Coughlin say, you know, I think they only run the ball to give their receivers a little bit of a break so they can catch their breath in the huddle.
Right, this is a team that throws.
Yeah, and the short passing game is kind of like their running game. So you incorporate the philosophy of Brad Childress and Andy Reid into the fact that Brian Westbrook's the only running back. Maybe it is not a big a deal as we're making it out to be.
Brian Westbrook on the carry, and may not have picked up the first down. Brent Alexander forcing the play from the secondary. No gain, so it'll be 3rd down and 1. And you know, a few years ago, Andy Reid said, "I hope I never run the ball." He just would like to throw all the time. And
unbelievable to hear a guy, you know, who coached the offensive line, played the offensive line, and all he wants to do is throw the ball around. He knows his guys up front don't like to go backwards in protection all the time. They want to come off the ball at some point and go forward.
3rd down and 1. Westbrook. Second effort appears to be enough for the first down. Carlos Emmons, his former teammate, trying to prevent the first down, and let's see where they spot.
There shows you the confidence that they have in Sean Andrews, their first-round draft pick, a guy that they moved up to get because they couldn't believe he was still available. But you've got a 3rd and short situation. Here's Sean right there, number 73, the big guy. They go in right behind him, and L.J. Smith does a good job blocking down, but Sean Andrews really moves this guy out of the way, and they get enough yards for the first down. A lot of confidence in a rookie offensive lineman to run behind him in that situation.
Hey, the Eagles are gaining nearly 10 yards on first down. They've got that one now on the Giant 14. And McNabb wants to throw it again and going into the end zone, and this pass is caught by L.J. Smith, and the tight end gives the Eagles perhaps a 2-touchdown lead. Well thrown by McNabb, who now has hit 8 in a row, a 14-yard strike.
This offense, you can see why everybody in this city is so excited about this season. If they don't have injuries during the course of the year, this offense is going to be so hard to defend with the style that they play and the amount of weapons that they have. I mean, who do you cover? What do you try and stop?
They've got many weapons, and in some cases 2 in 1 position. Akers perfect. 21-7, the Eagles lead, so they might have been stung by the Giants' opening touchdown in the first quarter, but they have responded in kind and lead by that score midway in the second. Well, most of the Eagle drives have been short, quick ones. This one was a grinded out, but ended up with the touchdown pass to L.J. Smith. 11 plays, 80 yards. Donovan McNabb, 3 touchdown passes in the last 3 drives. He is having a marvelous opening game. And the kickoff by Akers, fielded by Willie Ponder, about 2 yards in the end zone. And Ponder out to the 25. So the Giants find themselves trailing 21-7, and for Jim Johnston, that means let's send some people and have a little fun out there. We've got a big pad here. Eagles at the top of their game, leading 21-7, and we're not bringing this up because of the score, because Kurt Warner's had drops on his receivers. But in talking to Tom Coughlin yesterday about Eli Manning, he says, I could bring Manning in games along the way during the games and second half of games and still go back with Warner the next week.
And a lot of people feel that's the best way for a young guy to do it, is in that mop-up duty, because you can't get an appreciation for the quickness of the decisions you have to make, how less time in the pocket you have than Eli had when he played in college. The only way you're going to see that is getting some real game experience.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 13, offense. Still first down.
Of all people.
That shows you're a little bit nervous when you're playing against Jim Johnston's defense. You're trying to get out from under center as fast as you possibly can.
You got to love it when there's a flag and it's not an alignment.
They're all looking at him for the first time. Come on, Kurt, hang in there.
Tony's dancing on the sidelines. First down and 15, and here's Tiki Barber diving, and he is tackled by Michael Lewis. You know, that secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we mentioned the fact that, last year Dawkins had been hurt, and Vincent and Taylor have gone elsewhere. Lito Shepard and Sheldon Brown now are the corners, but Lito Shepard had x-rays for an injured thumb. Roderick Hood has taken his place. Lewis had a big year last year. Eagles drafted well several years ago going to the secondary.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about this organization. Yeah, some people thought it was to play against the Rams, but I think they knew in the future they weren't going to be able to keep Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent.
And getting the sack is Hugh Douglas, returning to Philadelphia after Jacksonville said they didn't want him anymore, and no one wanted to touch him. They thought he had seen his better days, but Jim Johnston said bring him aboard, and a loss of 5 on the Eagles sack.
You know, Hugh Douglas and Jeremiah Trotter, both, guys who are great in the locker room, but still give you production on the field. You have to be able to produce when you get on the field also, and that's what Hugh Douglas does right there. You see he gets a good push on Luke Pettigrew, gets to the inside, fights through, and gets the sack. But when you can have a guy who's kind of nearing the end of his career, that's great in the locker room, but also gives you production on the field, that's a huge plus for this Eagles team. And
they added Jeremiah Trotter as well for goal line, and so the pass to Tiki Barber on 3rd down and 15, not going to get much there, and 4th down is coming up. So the Giants lost 10 yards, as you see Eli Manning standing on the sidelines watching his first regular season NFL game in a uniform.
Yeah, and he's having to take mental reps, something he hasn't had to do in many, many years here in New York. So it'll be interesting to see if they make a decision like that at some point in this game and try and get him some experience. And what a better guy to go against, but Jim Johnston.
Sure.
You're going to see some things you've never seen before.
And 4th down, and Fiegels with the punt, and Reno Mahe from the 35 toward the near sideline. Mahe cutting upfield, gets into Giant territory. Very nifty return by the second-year player, and Fiegels is shaken up on the play. So the Giants have their punter hurt right now, as if they haven't had problems with kickers for so many years. We'll be right back.
Jeff Fiegels getting up real slow. He takes a huge hit right here from Jeremiah Trotter. Watch him come in and just absolutely blindside him. He's jogging off the field right now. They had the cart on the field. Now, what happens with a punter, a lot of times he's not going to have his helmet fully pumped with air. So he's jogging downfield. If you're going to go down here for any reason and get mixed up in this, you better take the precautions, because for once in a while, somebody's going to tee you up like that, because they know that you probably don't have a guy as a backup punter that's going to be real effective. The good thing is he's moving his jaw. That was my first thing. Did he just break his jaw on that play? Because Jeremiah Trotter just unloaded on him.
And that cart just did a U-turn. And the Eagles in Giant territory. Pass thrown underneath to Brian Westbrook, and a first down for the Eagles to the Giant 30-yard line, picking up 12 yards on the play. So the Eagles hunting and pecking when they need to, and then of course they can go deep. And a lot of their short passes have been to Terrell Owens today.
Yeah, well, that's their ball control method. Everybody talks about the running game, but a lot of times they will just throw underneath and move the chains with short passes. But here today we've seen them go down the field deep, we've seen them intermediate, we've seen them underneath with crossing routes. They're throwing everything, and you can see why Donovan talked about us having a much more aggressive approach offensively this season.
And this time coming out of the backfield is John Ritchie in his first play as a runner or receiver, and Richie picking up 5 yards with Kevin Lewis on the tackle. Last year, you talked about the 3-headed running backs with Westbrook, Carell Buckhalter, and Deuce Staley. Staley, of course, in Pittsburgh, and Buckhalter out the season with a knee injury.
Yeah, you see that. Everybody over 130 touches. Now let's take a look at what they've got this year. They've got Brian Westbrook with 217. Reno Mahe and Thomas Tepe, there are some things that they can do. You know, Andy Reid has created some packages for them, but not near the experience they had last year in the backfield.
2nd and 5, keep it on the ground, and Westbrook will be short of the first down by 1.5 yards. Strahan making the tackle as they work on the jaw of Jeff Eagles. And an injured player for the Eagles is Sean Andrews, their first pick out of the University of Arkansas. And a lot of people you talk to say he could have gone as high as number 6 in the draft. He has been a gem for the Philadelphia Eagles, but injured right now. Next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show, and then these Giants will host the Redskins in Joe Gibbs' first visit to New York in more than 10 years in a key NFC East battle. The Bears will travel to Lambeau in a classic NFC rivalry to take on Brett Favre and the Packers or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. That's not the Eagle colors, I want to tell you. It's a darker midnight green. But how about Joe? Remember Joe Gibbs and Bill Parcells and those great duels that they had in the 80s?
It's an exciting year for the NFC East. Andy Reid, Tom Coughlin have both been to championship games. Bill Parcells, Joe Gibbs, both multiple Super Bowl wins. So, I mean, you talk about a division with some great coaching, and it's all going to be about the players, but something the Eagles don't want to see right here. They're putting a splint on Sean Andrews. They're getting that kind of like that splint air cast out. So this does not look good, and now the card is coming back out. And you know, this guy, they have been so excited about him. They thought he solidified the offensive line. They moved Jermaine Mayberry over to left guard, and he has handled everything that they have thrown at him. And for a young guy on the offensive line, the big thing is the mental part of the game. It's so challenging, and you can see the whole pile just kind of rolls up a little bit there. Hopefully this is just a slight ankle sprain and nothing bad, but you can see right there, you can see the strength that he has. I mean, young guy taking Norman Hand, a big guy, and just locking on and pushing him down the field. You can see why the Eagles staff so excited about Sean Andrews.
Yeah, he's in pain, and the first rookie to start for the Eagles since Trey Thomas opened up at left tackle 6 years ago. And all of a sudden, a pall cast over this stadium. And you know that both teams praying for, they're all in this together really when these things happen.
Yeah, you want to play a team at full strength. You don't want injuries to be a factor when you play. If you want to beat somebody, you want to take their best shot. And that's what has happened in the NFL recently. You see these teams that have the injuries. That's why, to me, what New England did last season was even more impressive because of the number of players that they had lost during the course of the season, and yet they still found a way to win the Super Bowl. And a lot of times, you saw what happened to the Falcons when Michael Vick went out. It can only be one guy. It could be, one or two marquee guys, and your whole season can change.
Here you see Jeff Eagles with that injured jaw. He seems to be all right, and being helped up will be Sean Andrews, and headed onto the cart. Artis Hicks will replace him at right guard. Yeah, that's how the Eagle fans feel. If you joined us late, the Giants scored first after a challenge by Tom Coughlin was upheld on a 3rd down pass play. The Giants got the ball back on the punt, scored on a 3-yard touchdown drive, capping a 66-yard drive, and then the Eagles took over. Donovan McNabb with 3 touchdown passes and a hand for Sean Andrews as he leaves in the cart. And as we said, McNabb with 3 touchdown passes, the first 2 to Terrell Owens, and the last one to tight end L.J. Smith. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the 27 of the Giants. McNabb looking to pass and going for Freddie Mitchell, overthrowing him and bringing up 4th down. And we talk about Terrell Owens. You know, Owens was tardy today. He arrived at the stadium about an hour or so before kickoff, about an hour late than he was supposed to get here. And no one knows whether T.O. is going to be fined or not. And, of course, it's the first regular season game dealing with all the traffic. No excuses here, but the fact is that Terrell Owens was late coming here. Didn't affect his performance.
He might show up late next time.
That's right.
He should show up late every week, I think.
It's working. Here's the field goal attempt. 45 yards for David Akers, one of the better kickers in the NFL, and this kick is good, and the Eagles stretch their lead to 24-7 on the 45-yard field goal by David Akers. It's unpredictable. It can never be scripted, and has provided us with some of sports' greatest moments. On October 5th, Fox Sports begins a month-long journey, starting with the Division Series, then brings you exclusive coverage of the Championship Series, and culminates with the World Series and the crowning of a champion. The drama begins October 5th here on Fox. So, as usual, the World Series, but a special year, the Super Bowl on Fox as well, Moose.
Yeah, big year for Fox. Everybody trying to get down to Jacksonville. That's what, you know, opening day. Let's find out. We've had all the speculation all off season. All right, we had some big moves here. You know, we've got coaches that are starting in new positions. You know, how are they going to be? And that first weekend is so nice because you finally can start to maybe process what's going to happen in some of these divisions.
Yeah, there'll be guys on the hot seat. They're going to write off teams after this first week, and those teams will probably wind up in Jacksonville.
Well, the Eagles 0-2 last year to start.
Right.
Find themselves in the championship game.
Willie Ponder at the 3, returning for the Giants. And Ponder runs into a fellow named Jeremiah Trotter. He's making an impact coming back to the delight of his teammates and the crowd.
Here's a guy, you know, he leaves Philadelphia as a starter, goes to Washington on a big free agent contract, comes back here, and look what he's done on special teams today. He came very close to blocking the punt that he retracted. He came back and decleated Jeff Eagles, and a big hit on that play. So these guys come back, they accept the role. I think that they sense something very special is possible with these Eagles, and they want to be a part of it.
Well, you see the time of possession. The Giants have the big edge of 9 minutes in the first quarter. Eagles have turned it around here in the second with 2:09 left in the first half. And Kurt Warner looking for anyone downfield, finds someone, and the pass is caught by Ike Hilliard. And Hilliard with a big gain. Biggest gain of the day for the Giants of 43 yards, and nailed by Roderick Hood, the backup cornerback from behind in Eagle territory.
A good adjustment by veteran Ike Hilliard. Watch, this is supposed to be a shallow route. Roderick Hood takes his eyes off him for a second, and he just kind of ducks upfield. There's nobody deep right there, and what a job by Kurt Warner. He stands in the pocket. Look at the hit he takes right there from Ike Reese. Gets a helmet right in the small of the back, but still able to deliver a great pass. Ike Hilliard, he made a great adjustment to get behind all the defenders.
His first catch and the longest play from scrimmage, and then after nearly getting sacked, does get sacked by the middle linebacker Mark Simino, and a 7-yard loss on the play. So this is going to be the issue for the Giants. What happens when it's going to be a drop-back pass situation with that revamped offensive line?
Yeah, you make a big play on Jim Johnston's defense before that, and he's just going to bring pressure. And Jim Finn's got to step up. You know, you can see Mark Simino coming. You got to step up and shorten the distance between the two of you. You can't wait and be a catch guy in blitz protection.
And a timeout called by the Giants. They have one remaining. Want to remind you, coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Interesting you point out last year, the Eagles, of course, stumbling early in the season. In fact, the Eagles have lost 3 straight openers coming into this game. Of course, they have played tougher teams than the Giants in this season.
Yeah, and last year they opened up with Tampa Bay, who was the defending Super Bowl champion. The next week, New England, who was the eventual Super Bowl champion. The year before that, they opened with St. Louis. So some difficult opponents to start the season.
2nd and 18. Here's Hilliard, and he's surrounded by 3 Eagles and dropped, and a flag goes down at the 41-yard line. Michael Lewis the first to get him. And indication of face mask is the preliminary call.
Five-yard face mask, number 57, defense.
Keith Adams, who started today in place of Nate Wayne, who was unable to go because of a hamstring pull.
Just look at the amount of the Eagles running to the ball right there, and this is just one of those penalties that just you know, it happens if you're playing an aggressive style. Somebody's running over to make a tackle, they get their hand up, gets on the face mask. Didn't really see anything there, but
the crowd agrees that it was a mild call. Meanwhile, 2nd down or 3rd down and 10 for the Giants, and here's Jeremy Shockey. Shockey, short of the first down, gets inside the 30-yard line. So Shockey dropping a pass early in the game, unable to grab a long pass overthrown. That is his first catch. Good for 6 yards. It's 4th down, and the Giants will try to get 3 points.
Keith Adams did a good job in coverage right there, and then also getting Jeremy Shockey to the ground. He's another guy, once the ball is in his hand, you really got to worry about his playmaking ability afterwards.
Tom Coughlin is on the field yelling at the 4, now 5 officials. What's the issue?
Tom Coughlin's down here yelling that he thought that they should have a repeat of a down with the face mask ball.
That's right. It should be 2nd down, shouldn't it?
Well, he was out on the last play, but didn't see what the point was there.
And that's right, because we started to say 2nd down. All of a sudden, I see 3rd down, and now I think it'll be 3rd down. So the Giants still have another play. They sent their field goal kicking team on the field. Off they go.
The previous down was 2nd down with the 5-yard penalty. The down is replayed. This is 3rd down.
So the Giants have new life. 3rd down and 5. The ball is on the Eagles' 30 with a minute and a half remaining, and the clock running. Giants with 1 timeout remaining. Looks like the Eagles want to get to Warner in a hurry, and here comes the...
They're going to get a free one.
Both sides are applauding, so maybe it's Johnny Greer. They like his work.
Prior to the snap, false start, 65, offense. Still 3rd down.
Well, that hurts for Tom Coughlin. A 5-yard penalty. Jason Whittle, guilty of the false start, will bring the ball back to the 35, so it'll be 3rd down, and they need 10 now.
It's an interesting little series of...
Yeah. I would say an interesting series of plays of no action.
Yes. We're going to give you an extra down, but we're going to take 5 yards from it.
Warner out of the shotgun, stepping up and firing, overthrowing the intended receiver, Ike Hilliard. So now it is 4th down, and Steve Christie is going to come aboard. So the Giants scored the first points of the game, and have surrendered 24 unanswered by the Eagles, and now Christie will try to end that. He is the 7th Giant place kicker since Brad Daloiso was hurt in the year 2000. And this will be a 53-yard field goal. Long kick for Christie, and Christie's kick is good. So the Giants, despite losing the yardage on the penalty, Steve Christie comes through with a 53-yarder, and the Giants trail now by 2 touchdowns, 24-10. Again, the Visa halftime report coming up in a jiff. We have a minute and 14 seconds remaining in this first half.
What a good signing by Tom Coughlin earlier this week to bring in Steve Christie. And one of the concerns they had was his range with field goals and maybe a little bit short on kickoffs. But as you pointed out, 7 kickers in the last 4 or 5 years to add some stability to that spot with a veteran presence, a guy who's kicked in Buffalo, kicked in outdoor bad conditions, which could come into effect later in the year up at Giant Stadium. So, but I think that has to be a huge plus right there. I don't know if they expect Steve Christie to make a field goal of that length.
And you know that a little while ago, Sean Andrews was taken off, and they have news is not good, a possible fracture.
You see that splint and that cart come out. It's hopefully it's just precautionary.
And the look on his face. So Christie will kick off with 1:14 remaining in the first half. The Eagles lead now 24-10 over the Giants. J.R. Reed from the 3-yard line. The undrafted rookie from South Florida. Already he's proven he's tough to bring down, and that again is the case. I counted 7 or 8 Giants around him there.
That's about, what, 15 for the day today? He's been tackled twice, but it's taken 15 guys to get him down on those 2 carries.
25-yard return.
That's that fire.
Where is that fire, Tony?
All over now. It started in his pants, now it's down to his shoes, his back, his neck. This guy's hot.
Yeah, I mean, when the fire starts in the pants, you know, then you know it's better spread.
Sounds good to me, Dick.
We'll talk later, Goose. First down at the 28. With 1:06 on the clock. Giants with a 3-man rush, and McNabb sees an opening up the middle and is dragged down by Barrett Green, picking up about 5. Clock running under a minute. Eagles with 2 timeouts left.
Some more evidence of that aggressive philosophy that the Eagle offense is going to use this season. 14-point lead with under a minute to go, and they're still looking for more points.
On the screen pass to Brian Westbrook. Head of steam, Brian into Giant territory, and Westbrook down at the 44-yard line. Barrett Green that time missed an initial tackle on Westbrook, who winds up with 22 yards as the Eagles call the quick timeout.
And just running a little screen, they slip Ryan Westbrook into the line of scrimmage. He bounces outside. Hank Fraley gets out in front. Lead block downfield. Good job out in the open space by Hank Fraley. Ryan Westbrook just getting as much as he can going north and south. That was the amazing thing to me that Coach Reed talked to us about Hank Fraley was during the conditioning, that he's one of the guys that's out front. It went Javon Curse, Hank Fraley. I mean, that you don't expect Hank Fraley to be the second guy in a conditioning test every rep. And you see right there, I mean, that's nice athleticism for a big guy out in the open space on a defensive back.
Moose, as you know from your days with the Cowboys, he's one of those players no one ever talks about that you wouldn't be winning without him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He kind of goes unmentioned, and he will continue to this year with all the offensive weapons that they have.
From the 44-yard line, plenty of time for Donovan McNabb, at least had some time, and finally throws the ball away. And an alert play by McNabb. Michael Strahan putting the pressure on. We've already seen the great athleticism of McNabb when he threw the touchdown pass to Owens. And now, as you can see, Coughlin yelling for...
I think he's still in the pocket, though.
Yes, he is.
They ruled it a sack. They ruled it a sack.
The Eagles will call a timeout, and apparently that's the case.
You can see Donovan. He gets up right away and wants to know why.
12 seconds.
That's amazing to me. And we saw him on the touchdown pass to Daryl Owens when he threw across his body after being knocked off his feet. But watch this. I mean, he's got Michael Strahan hanging all over him. You know, he's smart enough to know all I got to do is get it behind the line of scrimmage, and I'm not going to get called for grounding. Look at the position that he throws right there.
Remember what Carlos Emmons told the Giants? He said, you know, you have no idea how tough, and I guess many of the Giants do have it because he's wreaked havoc against the Giants in recent years.
Yeah, Carlos sees it every day at practice when he was with the Eagles, but going over there, you know, Michael Strahan's one of the few guys you see get him down on a regular occurrence. A lot of times guys get there. That's only half the job when you get your arms around Donovan McNabb. You still got a lot of work to do to get him to the ground.
12 seconds remaining, and they spread the defense and a running play to Brian Westbrook. And there's always a possibility with 1 timeout left to get in position for a long Akers field goal. And they're hurrying it up now, and the clock winding down, and it winds all the way down. So they couldn't quite get it in position. And that is the end of the first half with the score, the Eagles 24 and the Giants 10. Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report after these messages.
Yeah, you know, the big thing, neither team committing a turnover, which is impressive for the opening season, and unfortunately for the Giants right now, is they're going through this progression, you know, with learning the systems and the philosophies. They're going to have a little bit of help.
And here's our fantasy update. Quarterbacks in this game, the running backs: Brian Westbrook, 118 total yards. Daryl Owens. And for the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. J.R. Reed returning the second half kickoff. And again, tough to bring down. And he finally stopped at the 30, where the Eagles will go to work. So the Philadelphia Eagles with Owens, 4 catches for 35 yards, has only averaged under 9 yards a reception, but has 2 scores. And we showed you Westbrook's versatility.
We saw versatility from the entire Eagles offense in that first half, just the number of weapons that they can go to. And, you know, how we talked about it, you know, on the halftime show, you know, Donovan McNabb, you forget about him. His play elevates. You talk about everybody else that's involved in this game, but, you know, he had an outstanding first half.
Starting from the 30-yard line, first down with 3 wide receivers, and McNabb going to the tight end Chad Lewis, and Lewis picking up nearly 8 yards on the play. McNabb's rating has to be almost perfect. 14 of 18, 204 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, throwing to 7 different receivers.
And there's a big thing right there. You see yards per play. I mean, they are just getting them in chunks. I mean, you're talking almost 10 yards per play, twice the distance at the Giants. And the Giants actually pretty productive at 5 yards per play.
Second down, and they ruled a 9-yard pickup. Second down and 1 from the 39. Westbrook trying to go outside and bounces off a couple of defenders and gets more than enough yards into Giant territory to the 48-yard line. It was Will Allen who missed the block up front in the tackle, and a 13-yard gain adding to Westbrook's total.
We know about Brian Westbrook's speed and his athletic ability, but I did not realize that he ran so physically. And you'll see right here, he's got a guy in the hole right there. Will Allen has got him in the hole, and he just makes him look silly and gets outside. I mean, that play should have been stopped for, you know, 2 yards, 3 yards tops, and he turns it into 13.
Will Allen is out of the game. Remember, he's coming back from the knee injury. Curtis DeLoach, a rookie from North Carolina A&T, as you look at Westbrook's gaudy numbers. First down on the 48. And here is Chad Lewis for a minimal gain.
Had a chance to talk to Andy Reid before he went into the locker room. Said he came out a little bit flat there on offense, but he's really concerned about Sean Andrews. Could have a fractured ankle. Don't know the status right now, but it's a big concern of his.
All right, Tony. Thank you very much, and that is a big concern. Did you talk to Tom Coughlin and ask him for a job?
Yeah, he said forget about it.
I wonder why. Second down and 5.
My kind of guy, I couldn't understand it.
I know, 43-yard line, and this pass, and incomplete, intended for Terrell Owens. Try to...
He's telling Andy Reid to go take a look at it. That's a first down. You saw Tom Coughlin use one to take away an Eagle first down and get the ball back. Terrell's trying to get Andy Reid to take a look at it to keep the ball. Andy's not buying into it.
Third down and 5 on the 43. They caught a little smile on Mr. Reid's face. Just the start here of this third quarter. Mitchell in motion. Plenty of time for McNabb, going short and trying to dive and getting the extra yardage for the first down. A bad miss by the Giants defensively, and Westbrook will have a first down. And right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
All right, take a look here. Dallas narrowing the gap against Minnesota here. The handoff to Rashard Lee, 7 yards to pay dirt. Free agent out of Middle Tennessee State helps to narrow the gap. 21-17, Minnesota on top in the third. Back to Dick, Daryl, and tell Tony I do love him.
He knows it. He knows it, JB. But I'll tell you, Moose, don't ever count out Mr. Parcells, huh?
No, not at all. Not a lot of people thought that Dallas could be able to hang in that game.
And the pass into the end zone, and you would have gotten a great roar from Mr. Owens if Owens had caught up with him. Terry Cousin trying to stay with him step for step, so McNabb trying to take a shot here.
You got to test him on the outside. You know, Will Allen has left the field. Curtis DeLoach is in. You've got Terry Cousin, who's their nickelback, going up against Terrell Owens. And let me tell you what, after watching everything in the preseason, I cannot believe we didn't have a flag on that one.
Well, Terry Cousins said there was no foul.
Well,
and you got to believe.
You got to believe the guy that was possibly committing it, right?
Will Allen has come back in after a brief rest. 2nd down and 10. Eagles on the Giant 35-yard line, and here is Westbrook, Mr. Everything, and doesn't get anything there. That was Fred Robbins. Giants have with a lot of new faces on this team, including the kickers, the return men, the head coach, and the coaching staff, trying to come back from a 4-12 year, which they lost their last 8 games. And they bring in Kurt Warner, who's going to get the work done until they decide on Eli Manning. But it's Manning's team, it's Manning's future, without question. Shotgun on 3rd and 10. Dropped. Freddie Mitchell was in position, defended by Cousin, and that'll bring up 4th down.
You got to make those types of plays. It converts a 1st down. It gives you another series. They do a great job of picking up a blitz. Donovan delivers the ball, and Freddie Mitchell's just got to make that catch. No reason to put that ball on the ground.
So a long field goal attempt by David Akers coming up. Akers has connected on a 45-yarder. This will be from 53 yards. 4 yards shorter than his career long effort. And Akers this time doesn't make it as he pushes it out to the left. So Akers with a rare miss even from long distance for him. And the Giants will take over and good field position when we return to Philadelphia.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention.
A view of Historical Society Hill in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles trying to get off on the right foot for the first time in 4 years. Lead the Giants 24-10. Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa bringing you the opener. Giants, after the missed field goal, will begin from their 43. Jim Finn, the fullback, in motion. Tiki Barber, the running back. Here comes the pressure, and Barber on the screen pass. But the Eagles made Warner do everything fast because Dhani Jones put great pressure on him.
And that's what creating pressure from the defensive standpoint does. It hurries your quarterback. It throws off the timing of the offense. They've got 2 guys coming free. It doesn't matter if you have a screen because these guys are coming unblocked, and it just disrupts the timing of the entire play. It forces Kurt Warner into a position where he could have a bad throw, have a turnover. Everything's going to be negative.
In the first quarter, which ended 14-7, the Giants ran 9 times, passed 9. Second quarter, they ran only twice and passed on 10 occasions. So the balance was not there in the second quarter. 2nd and 10, the pitch to Barber off the left side. And Barber diving to the 46-yard line will bring up 3rd down and long after a 3-yard pickup. Roderick Hood making the tackle. By the way, Lito Shepard, who went out for x-rays in his thumb, has come back in the game. And there is Roderick Hood, who was forced to take over for Shepard when he was out. There is Lito Shepard, who was a 1st-round pick 2 years ago. Empty backfield for the Giants on 3rd down and 7. And here comes pressure from the secondary. The ball is knocked free. The Giants recover, but a big loss on the play. Sheldon Brown on a cornerback blitz came in and knocked the ball away, and Warner has had some problems anyway in holding onto it.
And that's the scary thing, is that he comes free. And that's what happens when you're going against Jim Johnson. Sometimes Kurt's looking to the opposite side of the field. He never sees him coming. He doesn't feel him coming. And that's what Jim Johnson can do with the way he breaks down protections. At least twice during the course of a game, you're going to have a guy come clean.
Jeff Eagles with the high kick. Reno Mahe on the 22. And Mahe is finally brought down at the 29-yard line. I think when Jim Johnston sees an empty backfield, it's like raw meat for a Lion.
Guys, I had a chance to watch Fiegels run down the field. He definitely had his head on a swivel, which I think he learned a little bit from last time.
Okay. I love it when Goose talks about the punters. You know that he has come full circle when he does that. And we'll take a timeout. 10:05 remaining in the third. Back here in Philadelphia, David Akers missing the 53-yard field goal, and the Giants, good field position, couldn't do much, and now the Eagles have it again on their 29-yard line. Two tight ends. McNabb in the pocket, up the middle, and the pass is caught in a fumble. Giants signaling, but we'll wait for an official sign, and they've got one. The Giants recover a fumble. And there you see Tom Coughlin. It was Chad Lewis who made the catch and coughed the ball up.
Well, they have opened up several drives during the course of the game this way. Boy, it sure looked like he was down. Let's see if Andy Reid can get the challenge out there.
Peterson and Alexander all over the ball.
Tom Coughlin's he's trying to get his guys to the line of scrimmage to snap the ball.
Well, they're taking a lot of time. And they've already replayed here in the stadium. And they can see that
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble. And
you can tell by the crowd's reaction that they feel that it'll be another winning challenge for Andy Reid.
Yeah, this one is going to go in their favor. Chad Lewis is down when the ball comes out. There's the catch. His knee is clearly down before that ball comes loose.
So we'll take a break as Johnny Greer goes over to the tunnel to look at the play and make his decision. Here's Johnny Greer, and he's already looked in the screen or yet has not seen the play. But if the challenge is upheld, Andy Reid may get a chance for a third.
A new rule that they have in this year, if the coach is successful on his opening two challenges and he still has a timeout, he gets a third. Now, earlier in this in the game, you had the trapped interception that he reviewed with Brent Alexander early in the first quarter. This one, you can see Chad Lewis is down before the ball comes out. But you remember earlier, Terrell Owens telling him to challenge that catch, and Andy, you know, a little wry smile, doesn't do it. If he was unsuccessful there, he doesn't have the ability to even challenge that play, and it's Giants ball.
After reviewing the play, the runner's left shin was down prior to the ball becoming loose. We have a completed pass and down by contact. The 2nd and 4 at the 35.
I don't remember.
Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
Moose, I don't remember.
By rule, Philadelphia is now entitled to a third challenge.
When I've seen 3 challenges all upheld, you know, in the beginning of a game like this.
Hey, we all got to knock a little bit of rust off in the opening week.
3 challenges, and they've all been successful, but 2 by Andy Reid, so he will get a third if he has a timeout remaining, if he needs it at all. 2nd down and 4 at the 35-yard line. The Eagles here in the third quarter with just under 10 minutes remaining. And it's been a big day for Brian Westbrook as a receiver and a runner. Chad Lewis in motion, play action. And there's McNabb wide open. Out of the backfield is L.J. Smith. And Smith, who has caught a touchdown pass today, you see his speed. He's got a lot of strength. That's why he's hard to defend. And he winds up with a big gain of 24 yards into Giant territory.
They're just doing everything right. Chad Lewis goes in motion over on the right side. They take care of Michael Strahan. L.J. Smith releases in the flat, and he's got nobody out there but guys on his team to help block and get downfield. They are just ripping off chunks of yardage offensively today. What a great sell by L.J. Smith. It's tough to teach a guy to be that patient on the bootleg, to actually get in front of the guy and sell the run before you release to the flat.
From the Giant 41, McNabb chased by Strahan, and then will prance out of bounds after picking up about 5 yards. Well, the report is really a tough one on Sean Andrews. Does have a fractured leg. So this very impressive rookie and is starting in his first NFL game out of the University of Arkansas is a loss with a fractured leg. 2nd down and 5. Westbrook.
Great feet.
Today it's great everything. He may have the first down.
Well, he is fun to watch. And he's just making something out of nothing.
Flag down back at the 38, however. And it's against the Eagles.
He should be tackled for a 2-yard loss. And he has enough yards for the first down if they don't have the penalty. I mean, he is something fun to watch.
When Westbrook makes his cut, Daryl, it looks like everybody on the field just stops.
It's like they're watching.
Amazing.
Number 48, offense. Still 2nd down.
That's John Ritchie, and you see it down on the field, so you get a special view of it, Goose.
I mean, I was walking and I stopped.
It's just amazing. I mean, he's stuck in the backfield. I mean, they get good penetration to the play side. You know, he's kind of got nowhere to go. He jumps around Michael Strahan, gets to the outside. And, boy, just to turn the corner, the burst of speed he's got.
He tore his triceps tendon at the regular season finale. Remember, the team averaged 28 points the last 10 regular season games and then struggled when he was out of there, and you see why. 2nd down and 15 after the penalty, back on the 46-yard line, drilling the pass, catching it. Todd Pinkston, he has the first down to the 29 of the Giants, and quickly a game break. Let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
All right, Dick, take a look here. Dante Culpepper hooking up with Randy Moss. 3rd catch of the day, 2nd touchdown. Moss owns Dallas. That's his 9th career touchdown reception in 4 regular season games. It is 28-17 Vikes over the Cowboys. Back to Dick Stockton.
Now, that was a concern of the Cowboys all year. The cornerback position, Mario Edwards left, and they were waiting for guys to step up, and everybody back in Dallas was worried about what Randy Moss was going to be able to do.
From the 29, 1st down. And a catch made between 2 defenders, and it is incomplete. So it was not held onto by Chad Lewis. And a 2nd down coming up for the Eagles.
Guys, I'm back here behind the Giants defense. Donovan McNabb has amazing lanes to throw in. For some reason, his offensive line is clearing defenders out of the way. He's almost pretending like it's 9-on-7 out here. If the Giants don't go and get penetration and put some pressure on him, it's going to be like in practice, a 9-on-7 just throwing all day long.
You get a little bit of play action, some movement in that pocket, Tony. We just had a good picture of a gaping hole for him to find Chad Lewis downfield.
And a good hole for Brian Westbrook off the right side, picking up 5 yards inside the 25-yard line. Eagles 24, Giants 10. New York scoring first, and then 24 unanswered points by the Eagles. McNabb with 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Daryl Owens. Steve Christie with a 53-yard field goal for the Giants. We have not had any scoring yet in this 3rd quarter. 3rd and 5 for Philadelphia. And once again, McNabb easy to Daryl Owens and a 1st down. Same as we've seen, guys. No question about it.
There are just too many playmakers across the field horizontally for the defense to cover. I mean, we've seen him go to Westbrook, to L.J. Smith. They get Daryl Owens singled up. Here he comes in motion, working against Will Allen. Just a little pivot. You've got to respect his speed. And then there's when he gets the ball in his hand, a good job by Will Allen, kind of taking that foot out from underneath, getting him to the ground.
5 catches for Daryl Owens. And they've got the big plays today, running and passing. Here is Westbrook, who's already gone over 100 yards. And Westbrook fights his way to the 11-yard line. Middle linebacker Kevin Lewis making the tackle and a pickup of 4. So Westbrook on 13 rushes has gained 106 yards. And we still have plenty of time left. His first career 100-yard game. Hard to believe in a way.
Yeah, it really is. You know, just because he didn't get enough snaps last year. You got Correll Buckholder, you got Deuce Staley, you're sharing reps. Now that he's the guy, this could be the first of many 100-yard games for Brian Westbrook this season.
I would think Andy Reid says, where have I been?
What was I thinking last year?
2nd and 7 now on the New York 12-yard line. And here is a bootleg and wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Daryl Owens. And that's 3 for T.O. in the opening game. What more could the Eagle fans ask?
biggest question that needs to be answered right here is, how is Terrell Owens wide open in the back corner of the end zone? I mean, there's L.J. Smith and John Ritchie in the flat, and everybody moves up on him. They've got Kevin Lewis is gonna chase down Terrell Owens from the inside out. That had to be a blown coverage somewhere.
Yeah, Lewis, the linebacker, went out to chase him. Here's Akers, and the kick is good. 31-10 in favor of the Eagles. And if there were the Philadelphia Flyers, we'd say that Terrell Owens has the hat trick.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. By Hummer, check out the H2, Hummer like nothing else. By IBM, making on-demand business a reality for companies around the world. And by new M3 Power from Gillette. Feel the power of the world's best shave.
Guys, this place is going crazy. Terrell Owens standing up, bowing to his fans here in Philadelphia, going crazy.
Crowd on its feet as the Eagles have rolled up to a 31-10 lead. And David Akers kicking off. Willie Ponder back deep for the Giants. A 3-touchdown lead for the Eagles and the deepest kickoff of the day for Akers. And the Giants will take it out on the 20-yard line. So Owens with his 3rd touchdown catch. McNabb has thrown 4 TDs, and every challenge upheld has led to a touchdown. So this crowd enjoying opening day. The Eagles lead the Giants 31-10, and want to remind you, you're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in the world's finest high-definition standard. And the Giants would like to raise their standard somewhat on offense, trailing by 3 touchdowns. Tiki Barber trying to turn the corner, and Barber does, close to the first down.
The surprising thing on that last touchdown, you saw Terrell Owens wide open in the back. They're going to get Sean Williams to bite up in here. They're expecting Kevin Lewis to get down the field and cover him. I don't know if Sean Williams bit on the play action that hard or if it was a mix-up in coverage, but I know, I mean, this guy here is stepping up, he's chasing up, and you've got your middle linebacker turning and running, and you've got Terrell Owens 10 yards behind anybody.
It's been kind of easy for T.O. today. 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. First down on that last play to Barber, and going underneath and trying to pick up 5 yards, but the pass is incomplete to Jeremy Shockey, and the crowd roars its approval as Dhani Jones, the former Giant, and his former teammate hook up, and Shockey has not been a factor for the Giants today, Moose.
Not only not a factor statistically, but not a factor emotionally. He got off to a slow start, had a couple of mistakes. He had that drop that would have gone for a touchdown. With his athletic ability, he has never gotten into a rhythm, and for that reason has never been the emotional spark that this offense needs.
And that first drop pass set the tone for what he has had today. 2nd down and 10, and on the run, here's a completed pass to Amani Toomer, and he is taken down dramatically by Brian Dawkins. Dawkins back in action, loves to make the hit, but the Giants get 17 in near Eagle territory.
Yeah, he likes to set the tone. He tries to look for one early on. He likes to get somebody early in the game just so he can plant a seed in the back of their mind. Hey, it's going to be like this all day. And he even told us, if you run me over, I still want you to feel it. It doesn't matter that you got the best out of that battle. You're going to know I'm coming with everything I got, every snap.
Eli Manning watching things as the Giants have a first down. Ron Dane in the lineup. He has not carried the ball since the 1st quarter today. Ball on the 48, and Dane gets an opportunity on the pitch left. And Dane hit at the midfield stripe, gets 2 yards. Michael Lewis. Hey, Michael Lewis is developing into an outstanding strong safety.
He really is. He got some snaps a few seasons ago, was able to kind of progress into this offense or this defense at a very good pace. And then you've got one of the best guys you could learn from, Brian Dawkins, back there with you. He had Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor and all those guys around him, and I think it's paid huge dividends. He's on the verge of a breakout season this year. He's a playmaker in the secondary.
And so far, you'd have to say the Eagles did not miss their corners of many years. Taylor and Vincent, and there's play action downfield. Here's Shockey. Shockey makes the catch, and drags Michael Lewis another few yards at a 34-yard play, and the Giants will be saying that's what we're looking for, and it's first down at the 15.
Yeah, but you can't wait until this point in the game to get Jeremy Shockey involved. And we talked about Daryl Owens being wide open in the corner. How do you let Jeremy Shockey run right down the middle of the field? A good play design that kept both Michael Lewis and Brian Dawkins having to worry about guys out on the outside.
So the Giants with a first down on the Eagle 15. Field goals just won't get it done for them from this point on. Here is Barber, tripped up and finally tackled. Michael Lewis again making the tackle. And it was Dhani Jones who slowed up Tiki Barber in the backfield, limiting him to just 1 yard.
The Eagles front gets penetration. They force the running back to go sideways. And the speed that they have and the pursuit, everything that's taught by defensive coordinator Jim Johnston, you cannot run laterally against this defense.
It seems that the Giants only are going laterally, Moose.
You can't do it. You got to get in between the tackles. And we have seen even in the first quarter when they had some success, it's all kind of off that counter O, that long trap out to the outside.
2nd and 8. Here's Ron Dane. Dane finding an opening, getting close to the 5, short of the first down by 1 yard. A 7-yard pickup for Ron Dane, who had the acceleration on this play. This is a Heisman Trophy winner who was inactive in all 16 games last year and getting a second opportunity in Tom Coughlin's first season.
And one of the first guys that he called, it was Ron Dane and William Joseph. He called them both in when he got the job and said, you guys have got to become productive this year. We cannot have first-round draft picks standing on the sideline not being productive on this team.
2 tight ends, 3rd down and 1. And here is Dane. He's going to get the first down as he reaches the 4-yard line. Sheldon Brown making the play and a penalty flag thrown.
Offside, left defensive tackle, line up in the neutral zone. That's a first down.
So Kurt Warner, it's not the St. Louis days, is it, for him anymore? On the
No, it's not a wide open down the field vertical attack, but you know, this could pay dividends for Kurt. This is a 1-year tryout for him also. You pointed out Eli Manning is the future of the Giants. He is in a different system. Everybody knows what he can do on that spread offense style that the Rams did. But how does he play in a conservative, more run-oriented defense like he's going to be in with the Giants this year? This could help him as he looks for a new spot next year if he elects to go somewhere else.
Without doubt. You saw Jeremiah Trotter comes in on goal line. 1st and goal at the 3-yard line and play action. And here is Warner. Warner gets hit, and the pass is incomplete, and another flag is down in the end zone, and it was Javon Curse who came in, and he's got that incredible wingspan to get a hand on the football.
Yeah, they just about tackled Jeremy Shockey trying to get out. They ran play action.
Holding, 24, defense. Will penalize half the distance to the goal. First down.
A little frustrated, a little animated.
Yeah. You see, here he is right there, number 80. He's going up against the defense line. He's trying to get out. There's Sheldon Brown. He comes up, and then he just throws that big hook on him. And we all know this year that that's going to be the holding. Look at everybody around. It's probably a good thing they did. That should have been intercepted if he tried to fit it in there.
3 tight ends, and here is Ron Dane, but Dane gets nothing, and Mark Cimino is right there. So the Giants' inability, and it was evident in preseason, to get short yardage plays no matter who carried the ball, and Dane's the man they want. They come up empty, and a loss of 1 yard.
It's just his feet. When he's coming up to the hole, his feet aren't ready to either explode forward or make a quick cut to the outside. You've either got to be committed to running the ball where it's designed and moving the pile, or if you don't want to do that, run it to the outside. And you don't have to be a big guy to be a short yardage goal line runner.
And the same story. Dane actually works his way close to the 1 yard line. And that will be 3rd down and goal.
Watch his feet as he comes up. It doesn't seem like he's ready to do anything. He's coming up. He's kind of just striding into the pile. That's just good second effort in being able to spin off the pile, or you would have had almost the exact same result as you had last time. If the hole's not there, you either make a decision to move the pile, or you got your feet in a position to bounce outside. One of the greatest short yardage goal line runners was Marcus Allen, and he wasn't a big guy.
Fumble, and the Eagles may have it. Javon Curse picking it up, and he's down. And he fumble recovered by Javon Curse. So both T.O. and Javon Curse paying dividends in the opener.
That's just a quarterback-center exchange right there. He never even got it to the running back, and just a team that is trying to build for the future. You know, that's one of the things that you can't have. You've got an opportunity for points, and whether it's 7, whether it's 3, you've got to get those every time. The margin for error for this Giant team this season is going to be very small as they start to progress, and you've got to get points every possible opportunity.
That is the first turnover in the game, and Jeremy Shockey upset as the Giants had a great opportunity to score and cut it to 2 touchdowns. Instead, the Eagles take over on the 4. 10 plays, 79 yards. They chewed up 5 minutes, no points. Out of the backfield, and the pass to the fullback, John Ritchie. And 4 seconds on the clock, and it will run out. So the Eagles force the fumble and maintain their big lead. That is the end of the third quarter. The score, the Eagles 31 and the Giants 10. And Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Here in Philadelphia, we start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton with Daryl Moose Johnston, the Goose, Tony Siragusa. The Eagles dominating the Giants, as expected, 31-10 as we start the fourth quarter. Donovan McNabb has gone over 300 yards for the 6th time in his career. That's good when you win. If you say you went over 300 yards when you lose, that meant that you were given a lot of yardage with your team way back. But this is a good effort when your team is up by that much. Brian Westbrook in at running back, 2nd down and 1. And off the right side goes Westbrook. And no gain on the play, so 3rd and short upcoming.
Donovan McNabb, 4 touchdown passes, but let's take a look at these drives that they've put together. This is the scary thing to me. They go 71 yards in 3 plays. They can go 71 yards in 10 plays and control the clock. You know, 80 yards in 11 plays. So they can either grind you out and execute and perform their offense, you know, for 10, 11 play drives, or they've got the big playability, the one when you had Brian Westbrook going 50 yards on a run, then Daryl Owens on a double move, 3 plays, 71 yards for a touchdown. So this offense can do it any way this afternoon that they want.
Trying to do it now with the pass, and Terrell Owens with the reception, down by contact, but it is a first down to the 19. And Moose, I think this is going to be a formidable offense against any defense this year.
The big thing is Donovan McNabb's completion percentage. Now, this is his 6th year in this West Coast system that Andy Reid bought. It's a little bit different. I talked to Terrell Owens about it, and Terrell said that in San Francisco we were more intermediate and short. They've got some more vertical passes here. But Donovan McNabb, you know, Andy has said, you know, we're waiting for him to really take that step in this system. And maybe it is the addition of Terrell Owens, but his completion percentage is almost 70% this afternoon, on top of the yardage and the touchdowns.
7 catches, 62 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And add another to the total, 8 receptions, and a pickup of about 6. Right now, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, take a look at this. San Francisco trying to go in for the possible tie on 3rd and goal. Picked off by Aaron Beasley. He returns this one 85 yards, 1 tackle missed there. A second one coming up right here. 2nd tackle missed. He eludes before finally getting caught by the 4th guy. That led to a 10-yard TD run by Warwick Dunn, and instead it's now 21-6 Atlanta. That in the 4th. Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, JB, no surprise there. No surprise here as Westbrook is upended by Will Peterson, who penetrated effectively early here in this 4th quarter.
You know, Moose, earlier talked about how Terrell Owens is definitely a big part of this offense, that he is, but I think it's all set up by Westbrook. Westbrook has just been pounding out yardage, even on the fakes. He has such a great move. It always looks like he's carrying the ball on the fakes, and it really helps the quarterback when he's going to go on fake and play action. I think he's really opening up the offense in the run game.
The attention to detail, doing all the little things right, and then he's shown an ability that I didn't know he had as a physical runner, breaking the tackles that he has.
What looks like a quarterback draw from McNabb gets snuffed out in a hurry by the strong safety Sean Williams, limiting to a yard. And a 4th down and a punting situation. This is week number 1. The Philadelphia Eagles, who after getting almost to the mountain 3 straight years, missing the Super Bowl by 1 game last 2 years at home, starting the journey again. They hope will get them into Jacksonville in February. Punt by Dirk Johnston. And Mark Jones. Mark Jones, a rookie from the University of Tennessee, who was acquired in trade from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And another one of those late 11th hour moves by the Giants this past week.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Toyota. By HP. Welcome to HP Digital Photography. Click, print, invent. By Pepsi Edge, the new full-flavor cola with 50% less sugar and carbs. And by Subway. Living well and eating well is about making choices. Subway. Choose well.
And welcome back to Philadelphia.
You know what that is? It's Betsy Ross's house.
Right, Betsy Ross. And what she did a great sewing job one time.
She did a fabulous job.
You knew her, Dick, didn't you?
Yeah, a number of Kurt Warner. Ball batted down. Kurt Warner. What are you trying to say, Goose?
Nothing. I thought I heard you talking about her one time.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe I went on a historical trip. Next time I'll take you, as Michael Lewis got a hand on that pass by Kurt Warner. You know, the Giants offense being, you know, the Eagles totally dazzling everyone today, but the Giant offense has been more than acceptable. The defense has been incredibly porous today for them. 2nd and 10 on the 43. Tiki Barber trying to wend his way for some yardage, and he picks up 4.
I think a positive for the Giants, if they can find some in this, is the play of their offensive line. It was a question coming into the season. They had struggled at times during the preseason. Tom Coughlin had singled the group out, you know, and maybe the one concern that could possibly still be there, and it has been there for a while for the Eagles, is their run defense. They have run the ball effectively against the Eagles' front. Maybe the only thing you can say that could be a concern for the Eagles up until this point in the game.
That's true. The Giants averaging more than 4.5 yards per rush, which is pretty good. 3rd down and 6 at the 47, but when you're way behind, you're not going to run the ball, and a flag is down.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 67, offense, still 3rd down.
That's Chris Snee, who is the son-in-law of that man, Tom Coughlin, married to Katie, who did not make the game today, but the parents of Chris Snee did, and Snee, who's well regarded as an offensive lineman, taken on the 2nd round out of Boston College.
Impressive. Unfortunately, Sean Andrews injured, but Chris Snee, we've got 2 rookies starting in the offensive line today. That is a tough task in the NFL nowadays.
3rd down and 11 from the 42. Shanko is the man in motion. Ike Hilliard has a blocker in front of him, and it was Jason Whittle, and a 1st down for the Giants into Eagle territory to the 46-yard line, a pickup of 12.
Keith Adams, a big hit at the end of that run. He has played well today. You mentioned Nate Wayne with the hamstring injury. They just couldn't get him healthy, didn't feel as though he would be able to contribute, and you have to watch those roster spots, so they elect to start Keith Adams, who really made his mark on special teams here, but he has played well in that weak linebacker position during the course of the game.
Giants have a 1st down with 9:44 remaining in the 4th quarter, and going deep for Carter, and they're getting turned around on that pattern with Sheldon Brown covering on the play. So every once in a while, Warner is going for the downs, comes up incomplete, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, but the offensive line and the running backs in good coordination there to pick up the blitz by the Eagle defense and give Kurt Warner the time to get the ball vertically down the field.
I don't think every once in a while Dick is going to be good enough. They got 9 minutes, 38 seconds to score 21 points. I want to see these guys go downfield a little bit, make it a game.
2nd down and 10 at the 45. See whether Warner can get enough time to do that, Goose, as Barber going in motion to his right, and Barber in that wide receiver screen cutting toward the middle, and a block away trying to split the defense, and carries with him Michael Lewis to the 20-yard line. Another big play for the Giants. and a first down.
I tell you, if I'm Tiki Barber, I'm not going to be real happy every time this play comes in the huddle. I know you've got some linemen going out to help you out, but he's coming all the way across the field. And the way that these guys chase the ball in the NFL now, not just the linebackers. Look at the ball security. You know that that's one of the things that Tom Coughlin had talked to him about. We got to do a better job protecting the ball, but there is just so much pursuit. These guys are so fast. Good job by Tiki staying alive on that one.
And there's the quick screen to Amani Toomer. And Toomer, and you can see them going after the ball as Toomer gets 9 yards on the play to the 11 with Michael Lewis making the tackle. Tiki Barber very quietly has 94 total yards today as Lewis slowly gets up.
We just talked about him a few minutes ago as one of the good playmakers in that secondary. That's a concern now. If I'm with the Eagles, is all right. We have looked really good today. The opening game, we've done a lot of nice things. Gosh, they've had so many injuries over the last couple of years. You just hope you don't have something at this stage of the game.
And the Giants will call a timeout. They will have a second down in less than a 1. The 31-10 game. Only Giant touchdown was early in the first. Hey, Goose, you got anything to say real fast? You're pacing around like a bear down there.
I'm just frustrated. All I see is run to the left, screen to the right. Throw the ball downfield a little bit. Jesus, I'm standing here for an hour.
Second down and 1. Ron Dane is the setback.
There's your run left.
There's the run left, and Dane will get the first down inside the 10-yard line.
I tell you what, Tony, if they throw a screen pass to the right on the next play,
I'm leaving. Looks like your Coach Coughlin doesn't look very happy on the sideline. I don't know if you guys have a close-up of him.
We have actually seen him a few times, Tony. Up here we do get good shots.
I don't know if he ate a lemon or he's just not happy.
Is trailing 31-10, so he's not going to be doing a dance. First and goal at the 9. Ron Dane to the 5. Sheldon Brown making the tackle. Under 8 minutes on the clock. Eagles with an impressive offensive showing today. The Eagles offense has been the story of the day. To no one's surprise, McNabb 4 touchdown passes. T.O. with 3 touchdown catches.
And that's just, 2 pieces of that puzzle. There's been so many other contributors during the course of the afternoon, and I agree with Tony. Brian Westbrook could be the guy, the igniter of this offense. I mean, he gives you so many different things to worry about. You can match him up and create so many problems for your opposition's defense.
Second and goal at the 5. Here's Kurt Warner carrying the ball and trying to cover up. Remember the last drive for the Giants, Warner fumbled at the 1-yard line. It'll be third down coming up now. Derek Burgess caught up with him, and that'll go as a sack for the Eagles, their 4th of the game.
That is not what you want this offense to be doing. That is not, Kurt Warner is a timing, accurate quarterback. He's not the move guy with don't pull the ball down and run, Kurt. If you don't got anything there, get rid of it.
Third and 5, and the Giants have 2 downs to try to score a touchdown. And here is Warner. Tosses it in the end zone, and the pass is incomplete. Hilliard, and doing a good job wrestling with him, is Lito Shepard, who was out with injury earlier, came back and did a good job. So it's 4th down, and the Giants will go for it, obviously.
Now, the good thing that Lito Shepard did there is you had Kurt Warner moving to his right, and you kind of get those defenders in a tough spot. You move up and make a play on the quarterback. You stay with your guy. And Lito Shepard played it very, very well. You watch here as Kurt Warner moves out. He's in the back corner, staying with him. Even when he's got his back turned. Look at that. That was very nice. He's got a little bit more space. He's got himself an interception. That was played very well by Lito Shepard.
Hey, Shepard started 9 games last year. A lot of people don't remember that when there were injuries to the Eagle star corner. So here it is, 4th down, and the pass is incomplete off the hands of Ike Hilliard. So that was a catchable pass for Ike Hilliard, and in Kurt Warner's defense, the Giants have had some terrible misses by their receivers today. Here is that play again, maybe a little behind Hilliard. You got to get it.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by DirecTV. 12 million fans and counting.
here in Philadelphia. 6:25 remaining in the game. Brian Westbrook, the runner, and first down. And Donovan McNabb gets away from one defender and incomplete. And his attention pass to Freddie Mitchell. And a flag is down.
Illegal receiver downfield.
Michael Strahan finding out once again how tough it is to put down McNabb. Illegal receiver, as you point out, Moose. Loss of down.
Sometimes even his offensive linemen don't realize he can get himself out of these jams and still get the ball thrown downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Number 71. The penalty is declined. Second down.
And the ball on the 5-yard line. Jermaine Mayberry is the right guard. Sean Andrews with a broken leg leaving the game, and Artis Hicks the left guard. Two tight ends in there. Another flag is down as Brian Westbrook out to the outside and out of bounds at the 16.
We talked about with Ron Dane and his feet. Brian Westbrook is the exact opposite.
94. Defense. It's declined. First down.
I mean, he comes up to the line of scrimmage and he's ready to either explode in, or he gives himself the ability to bounce outside. And he's coming up. He's going to move to his right. There's nothing there, and then the ability to explode to the outside. You know, his feet are ready to move. Where Ron Dane's, for some reason, he just doesn't look like he's prepared to either push the pile or move laterally.
11-yard pickup for the Eagles. Penalty declined, 113 yards on 16 carries, and he's going to get some more here. Westbrook turning the corner, and it was Alexander who puts him down at the 23-yard line. Nearly 5.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Eagles leading the Giants 31-10, trying to break a 3-game opening day losing streak. The Eagles have beaten the Giants 5 of the last 6 times. This was after the Giants had won 9 straight against Philadelphia. And a hand for Brian Westbrook as he leaves the field.
What a great afternoon.
17 attempts, 119 yards rushing for Westbrook, who's going to handle the burden now. And Thomas DePay, a rookie from the University of Minnesota, now taking over at running back. DePay is a native of Liberia, who moved to the Twin Cities when he was 9 years old, and he learned how to speak English by watching cartoons on television, which is as good a way as any.
Ruh-roh.
So DePay is in there now, and a great day's work for Brian Westbrook. 3rd down and 3 for the Eagles on their 23. Play action. McNabb going up, and a great catch is made by Chad Lewis. Lewis with a first down, and that was perfectly placed. A 14-yard pass. Great touch by McNabb.
Yeah, this offense has just been hitting on all cylinders today. I mean, this ball is thrown out in an area where only Chad Lewis can make the catch, and he goes out and grabs it. A good catch to finish the play, securing it as he goes down. And, you know, one of the concerns that I had when you talked about Brian Westbrook being the featured running back, you know, can he carry it 25, 30 times a game? He doesn't have to. Not in this system. That's not what this system is all about. He had 17 today. He played up until 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This is about controlling the flow of the game through their passing game. So he's not going to take a lot of punishment running the ball.
DePay up the middle to the 40, picking up a couple of yards. 2-yard pickup. The Eagles' next game is going to be against the Minnesota Vikings next week here at home. And Daryl Owens can prance his stuff against the Minnesota Vikings as Peyton Manning throwing on the sidelines, or Eli Manning, I should say, on the sidelines. If the Giants had Peyton, he would have been in there in the first quarter today.
I don't think Peyton would have been on the bench.
It may not be 31-10, but again, you can't. You know, the Giant offense stalled with missed passes and coming up empty at the goal line a couple of times. DePay, not much. Keith Washington on the tackle. Daryl Owens. Big day for him in his debut in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform. As you said, that jersey's #1 seller. And catching 3 touchdown passes and doing his thing.
Well, the big thing is you knew when he came here, you know, whether he was productive or not, you know, he was going to help everybody else on the offense, because you have to worry about him. You have to be concerned what he's doing on the field when he's out there. And then the fact that he comes in with 3 touchdowns on top of everything else. And it's just amazing that the Giants allowed him to be that productive today, being a guy they knew they had to defend.
McNabb, who has shown his athletic skills many times, and a great pass broken up there by Brent Alexander for John Ritchie, the fullback. And the 4th down is upcoming. And, you know, Daryl Owens did it all coming to the game about an hour before the start.
You know, Danny's going to find him, but you know what? Tying a career high with 3 touchdown catches, I wouldn't be shocked to see him show up an hour before kickoff next week against the Vikings.
Dirk Johnson will be kicking, and Mark Jones back for the Giants with 2 minutes 44 seconds on the clock. Giants coming on to try to block that kick. Fair catch by Jones. And a timeout. 2:37 remaining in the game. The Eagles by 21.
If you look in Webster's dictionary under the word frustration, you ought to see that face right next to the word. That sums it all up, that picture right there.
Kurt Warner's numbers, the Giants average 5.6 yards per reception. And Eli Manning making his NFL debut. 2:37 to go in the 4th in the opening game against the Eagles, starting from the 28-yard line. And the handoff to Tiki Barber, bursts up front for a first down, and maybe all the way. He's got a linebacker to beat, and now a secondary player, and Barber's going to score. There are no flags down on the field. A 72-yard touchdown run. So Eli Manning comes in, he hands off to Tiki Barber. Barber does the rest, and the Giants get 6.
This is not going to sit well with Jim Johnston or anybody in the Eagles organization right here. This is the only thing they have not done well today. You cannot allow somebody to go 70-plus yards at this stage of the game. You have got to finish the game. They have played so well. You don't want anything to take away from your performance this afternoon.
And here is Christie with the extra point, and the score now, the Eagles 31 and the Giants 17, and the Giants' first touchdown since the first quarter when they took the 7-0 lead. So Tiki Barber, who has 125 yards, 72 of them on that last play, in 9 carries and a touchdown.
It's interesting to hear Tiki talk. He said he had one of his most, or if not the most productive season of his career, the time that Ron Dane was involved in the offense more. Seems the same way this afternoon.
All right, the story of this game, Ron Dane putting the Giants in front after a challenge was upheld, and the McNabb-Owens show started with these 2 touchdown passes. And into the second quarter, the tight end L.J. Smith with a great catch. And then David Akers with a 45-yard field goal, 24 unanswered points. Steve Christie got 3 back, but Daryl Owens from McNabb, a big day for Owens, as he tied a career high with 3 touchdowns receptions, and Donovan McNabb with 4 touchdowns throwing, tying a career high for him. And that says it all. And the Giant offense stumbled at some point, but the Philadelphia Eagles offense was as good as they'll get.
Yeah, it's just so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. You see the passing yards, but you know, it hasn't been a terrible day. That was a huge run by Tiki right there, but they've got 350 yards of offense also. They're averaging over 6 yards per play. So some positives for the Giants to build on as they move forward.
And looking for the onside kick, and here it is. And it's fielded by the Eagles. And it's Todd Pinkston. You want a good hands? Well, Todd Pinkston has had them today. Well, next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show. And then these Giants will host Joe Gibbs and the Redskins. Gibbs' first visit to New York in more than a decade. Or the Bears will travel to Lambeau Field in a classic NFC rivalry. And the Packers play on Monday. The Bears lost to the Lions, so they'll be hungry. Other regional action coming up as well. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Many of the fans here have departed for the highways and byways. The Eagles have to be satisfied with winning this game. And we've talked about their offense, and one of the questions you said at the outset of the game, Jim Johnston's ability to stop the run, and they didn't do that today.
No, they did not. And to let that big run happen at this stage of the game, you know, that still has to be a concern. And they've got everybody back. They've got everybody healthy this year. You know, Hollis Thomas has been banged up the last few years. Corey Simon's been in and out of the lineup. Really, their whole defensive line has had some injuries, but they're as healthy as they've been in a long time. You lose Andy Kalu, but you also bring in Javon Curse. So that's going to be a source of frustration for this team when they watch the film tomorrow.
Giants calling a timeout after Reno Mahi picked up a couple of yards, and the Giants with 1 timeout remaining and 2:14. And this is not surprising, because when he was coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars and his team was out of it, Tom Coughlin had his team battling tooth and nail after they were eliminated in a late season game. So Tom Coughlin never puts out the white flag, and that's, of course, one of the characteristics of this guy.
Yeah, well, you know, 31-17, you know, a little over 2 minutes left. He's going to play this game out like it's 31-28. You know, he's trying to get a possession. He's trying to get his team back on the field offensively. So, you know, you take your cues from your head coach. You know, if he wants these guys to play with a never say die attitude, then he's got to coach that way.
And, you know, the thing that he told us yesterday we want to reiterate is that, look, I'm going to get Eli Manning in games where it works, but I'll come back next week with Kurt Warner. So the fact that Eli Manning is at quarterback to finish this game doesn't mean that he now is taken over at quarterback. Warner would probably be in there next week, as Reno Mahi has stopped short of a yard as we wind down to the 2-minute mark. And the 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia. The Giants trailing the Eagles 31-17 in game 1. Well, tonight on Fox, he's going from low-class loser to high-priced lover. Meet the most unlikely male escort, Rob Schneider. He's Deuce Bigelow, following The Simpsons at a special time coming up next, except on the West Coast. 2 minutes remaining, and the Eagles lead 31-17. They have the ball on the Giant 34-yard line. They're looking to run out the clock. The Giants have gone to Eli Manning for 1 play, and he'll be in there again as Mahi is tackled behind the line scrimmage, a loss by Fred Robbins, former Minnesota Viking. And the Giants will now employ their 3rd and final timeout. Eli Manning coming in relief of Kurt Warner for 1 play, handed off to Tiki Barber, who ran 72 yards for a touchdown. The NFL's easy, right, Eli?
What is everybody worried about?
Well, coming up on the SBC postgame report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Eli Manning, who's acquired on a draft day trade for Phillip Rivers of the San Diego Chargers, who had the #1 pick.
Yes, and he was very outspoken about the fact he didn't want to go to San Diego, and was probably very nervous there for a few picks when he ended up in San Diego. I told you guys I didn't want to go there.
But the trade was made as before the clock ticked down. Dirk Johnson punting to Mark Jones. And lets it bounce, and the Eagles trying to save it, and they cannot. It is a touchback. Greg Lewis trying to stay in the field of play, and the impetus could not do it, and it goes into the end zone for the touchback. Giants come out of the 20, and we'll see Eli Manning again.
And this experience for Eli is invaluable. You know, he played during the preseason, but it's not the same. I mean, the speed of this game takes another step when you get to the regular season. And he's going against a lot of the starters from the Philadelphia Eagles in there. They're not taking anybody out, and he's going to get to see how quickly he has to make decisions, how small the throwing lanes are, the opportunity to get the ball to receivers, and how few minutes or few seconds he has in the pocket to deliver the ball.
Yeah, get rid of it in a hurry. And here is Manning in the pocket, and the first pass knocked away, incomplete, intended for Amani Toomer. And right now for a game break, let's check in again with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, San Francisco doing its best to try and tie up the game with less than a minute left. Hooking up here, Tim Rattay's 16-yard strike to Eric Johnston. That makes it 21-19. They go for the 2-point conversion, but the ball is batted down and San Francisco also failed on the onside kick. Right now, Atlanta nursing a 2-point lead. Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, JB, thank you very much. 2nd down and 10 following the incompletion. 3-man defensive front for the Eagles. And Manning's pass off the mark and incomplete again to Toomer. So it'll be 3rd and 10.
Get a feel right here with Eli Manning. He's just got a 3-man rush, but still, you don't have a lot of time in the throwing lanes. He's got to learn that the umpire moves forward in the off to the left. Almost took his hat right off the top of his head, but these areas to deliver the ball much smaller than the NFL, and this is going to be a good experience for Eli.
3rd down, and here comes the blitz. He dumps it off to Tiki Barber. Barber scored a touchdown a few moments again. And Barber's going to say, I like when Eli Manning gets me the ball. He gets 33 yards after 72 before. And now the hurry up with the clock now at 1:20. Giants with a 1st down in Eagle territory. Manning would like nothing more as he spikes the ball to try and get a score. Well, today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director is Charles McDonald. The broadcast associates are Wayne Wilson and Michael Thompson. The sideline producer is Jacob Ullman. The technical producer is Bob Muller. Pregame show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. 2nd down and 10 on the Eagles 47, and the pass off the hands of Ike Hilliard, incomplete. And we'd also like to thank our stats crew, our spotter Chris Visser, Rick Odioso up here in the broadcast booth, Mike Eldridge and Charlie Dameyer. And thanks to our production team, technical team, in this opening game, first time on HD.
And the pitchers have been unbelievable. Right. It's amazing.
3rd down and 10. Andy Reid with a new contract and an extension in tow. Seconds away from an opening day victory. Manning's pass incomplete. And welcome to viewers who saw the Minnesota Vikings beat the Dallas Cowboys 35-17, and the Falcons hold on and beat the 49ers 21-19. This is Dick Stockton with Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Kurt Warner started today and averaged 5.6 yards per throw, nothing like his St. Louis days. Eli Manning coming in to mop up, getting his first experience in a New York Giant uniform in the NFL. 4th down and 10 for the Giants, who have been dominated by a brilliant Eagle defense today to the tune of 31-17. Manning with time, and his pass is caught to the 21-yard line by Tim Carter. And under a minute remaining, so Manning with a hurry up again. First completion in the NFL, Moose.
He's been very poised out there. The first play, he hands the ball to Tiki Barber. He goes 72 yards for a touchdown. So, he's had another big play to Tiki on a screen since then. Has that play there. So you wonder. I know that Tom Coughlin said, Eli could play, but Kurt's going to be our guy for the season. But now, having witnessed his performance in this mop-up duty here, does he try and get him in maybe in the 3rd quarter or in the late 2nd quarter? Does he kind of move his progression up into an area of the game where it's more critical, or does he continue to just do mop-up duty like he's done this afternoon?
Well, a lot of people think it'll be after the bye week against Detroit when Eli Manning will actually take over. Who knows? Pass up the middle to Carter is caught, and we're running out of time here as the Giants trailing 31-17. It may be mop-up time for most of the Eagles, but for Eli Manning, this is everything.
No, it's invaluable experience for him. It's regular season game speed.
Pass to Carter and a 1st down, and it'll stop the clock with a flag down and 21 seconds remaining. So a penalty marker down here. Philadelphia Eagles dominating today. Donovan McNabb with 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Terrell Owens in his first game for the Eagles.
Illegal formation, offense. White side of the line was not on the line of scrimmage. Still third down.
That's what they're looking at this year in particular.
Yeah, a point of emphasis, whether it's the tackle not being up on the line of scrimmage or a wide receiver taking too much advantage of not having to be on the line of scrimmage. They're trying to clean up some of the formations to start the play.
Here's Daryl Owens, 3 touchdown receptions, tying a career high. Owens caught 8 passes overall. And you know that the Eagles have really upgraded their offense off of their performance today, though it was against the Giants, who struggled somewhat. Here is Manning in trouble, loses the ball, and Ron Dane picks it up, and Dane goes out of bounds. So I don't know if Eli Manning saw both of the players who hit him. It was Jerome McDougal who applied the big crunch, and he appears to be all right.
Wow.
So he's getting everything. First handoff for a touchdown, first pass, and now first this.
Well, this is the thing you're going to have to learn in the NFL is that these guys never give up on a play, and that's Jerome McDougal. Defensive linemen, they are going to chase the ball, and you have to be aware.
And the game is over. No time showing on the clock. And Eli Manning's debut in a mop-up role, but an impressive victory for the Philadelphia Eagles as they defeat the Giants 31-17 here in Philly, breaking a 3-game home losing streak. Openers, at least. We'll be back in a moment.